form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
It's April, and you know what that means? Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
How do you sum up 70 years in 30 seconds? The Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties has helped nonprofit groups put more than $110 million donor dollars to work over the last 7 decades. Programs, services, people, places, progress. Our 30 seconds are about up, but we're just getting started. Learn more at foundationhoc.org and help us work toward a vibrant region with opportunity for all.
Hi, Laura here from the Old Wicker Mill. Do you realize Easter is early this year? It's this Sunday. Are you ready? Not to worry, the Old Wicker Mill has everything you need to make your Easter perfect. There's goodies like jelly beans, chocolate pizza, chocolate-covered Peeps, chocolate-covered Oreos, and fun toys, books, puzzles, and a new large shipment of Squishmallows just arrived to fill those little ones' Easter baskets. Maybe your team would like something unconventional, like a Bog bag, Vera Bradley tote, or maybe a Pandora ring. And of course, you'll need something new to wear. The Old Wicker Mill was voted the best women's fashion store in Central New York, with great brands like Habitat, Charlie B, Jess and Jane, Lulu B, and Ethel, just to name a few. So I'm sure you'll find the perfect new addition to your wardrobe for Easter, or just spring. So for all your Easter needs, it's the Old Wicker Mill. We're conveniently located at the New Hartford Shopping Center. And remember, everything we carry is fun, functional, and affordable.
Hi, this is Tom Cole from Gates Cole Insurance with exciting news. We're expanding with a couple of new offices in our area. One new location is Tall Pines Insurance in Boonville. They're another independent insurance agency that takes pride in making customers happy. That fits our culture at Gates Cole perfectly. Here's Greg Lee from the newest Gates Cole location, Tall Pines Insurance in Boonville.
The reason why I got into insurance was I wanted to allow my father the opportunity to retire and give back to my community. You know, we had the Boonville fire that wiped out a large area down here for us a few years ago, and so we showed up at the fire. You know, we were right there, ground zero, with our insureds, who made sure that they were taken care of quickly. You know, we were able to get people the money that they needed to cover their expenses from that loss.
For insurance for your home, auto, business, and just about everything else, trust your local independent insurance agency, Gates Cole Insurance, proudly representing Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty Company of Trumansburg, New York.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Nice mild beginning to the day, and we'll probably have a nice mild beginning to tomorrow. And then things cool off for the weekend and for Thursday night and Friday, and then we're back to warm all next week. 60s all next week, so if you're keeping track of that.
That's outstanding.
Coming up, we'll talk to Tanya Powers in a little while. She was outside the courthouse for the craziness of the Trump indictment yesterday. I don't know if you saw any of the action, but it was a bit on the crazy side.
So I did not, actually. I wanted to stay away from it. Everybody's so partisan and so biased, frankly. Everyone's already got their opinion on what it is.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I did had the joy of flipping through the channels last night.
Yeah.
The cable channels. And you went everywhere from what's coming next to he got what he deserved to this is the end of America. How could you do this to President Trump? I mean, it all depends on where you go. Yeah. And it's almost like a different story in each place.
Right. It's sad. It's actually pretty sad.
Like on Fox, the DA is just a liberal whack job who's out of his mind. But if you switch over to CNN, the DA really calculated this perfectly. So which is it? I find it somewhere, if you could throw a dart and find yourself landing somewhere in the middle, that's probably where you are. I also watched Trump's speech last night. Did you see any of that?
I did not. Again, I was trying to stay away from him.
That was
Smitty
interesting.
saw it, though, apparently.
And like I said, he had the opportunity to really bring in not just his supporters, but bring in others. I mean, he had the opportunity to present himself as a victim and, of course, not to divide and attack. And like I said, he had the opportunity. And, I mean, he went after, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but he went after everybody, including the judge and the judge's daughter. I'm not sure that's a smart move. Apparently, she works in politics, and she's been a political operative, if you will, over the years. But again, that doesn't. Every judge in America knows someone, has family, has friends, and has political opinions. But I think you have to trust that a judge will be fair. All eyes are on him or her. You have to trust that they'll be fair. And even Trump's own attorneys have said this judge. We have no reason to believe this judge won't be fair.
Well, and I can't remember how you say the guy's name right now, but he's come out and said. Bill Barr has come out and said. I've seen others come out and say. I heard Alan Dershowitz say it yesterday. Will you stop attacking the judge? Do you want something fair or not?
Right.
I mean, come
on. And Dershowitz, who is a liberal, feels that this is a weak case. And they haven't really, even though they've announced the charges, we don't know what's behind all of it or what evidence they have. Now, if you talk to the former attorney who went to jail, I keep losing his name.
Cohen?
Cohen, he was on doing an interview last night, and he claims that's okay. Don't worry about what they're saying. There is evidence to back everything up. Hard evidence to back everything up. So, he's known as someone who has lied on the stand and now even says that he lied when he pleaded guilty. So who do we believe in all of this? You got to let it. We are going to have to let it play out.
I will say I was kind of surprised. I know Dershowitz has come out in Trump's defense before, while still saying I won't vote for him. I don't like him, and he said point blank yesterday on Kilmeade, I will be voting for Joe Biden at the upcoming election. I want nothing to do with Trump as a leader.
That, and said that for a third time he would vote against Trump. Rob says that she works for Trump's opponent, conflict of interest. I disagree. Who a judge knows or is related to does not create a conflict of interest, especially when he has a record of being independent. I'm sorry. And I don't think it's a good idea for Trump to go after the judge.
Yeah.
I mean, call it a witch hunt, call it whatever you like to call it, but I just think it's a mistake. But, what do we know? Probably very little.
Yeah.
And Rob, wait a minute. Rob agrees with that. He agrees that we know very little.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you, Rob.
Dershowitz, though, did trash the whole process. Really
Absolutely did. But more of the DA's case than he did not trash the judge.
No.
Even if he did, that's different than the defendant trashing the judge.
Correct.
You just it's not where you really want to go.
Yeah, Dershowitz, I don't believe he trashed the judge, but the whole thing about going after a former president, and he brought up the feds had the case previously, they chose not to move forward with it, and on and on and on. And he kind of said that this was basically Pandora's box, and that we would see more of this in the future because this happened. Having said all that,
lowered the threshold, and
he's like, I'm still voting Joe Biden when the election comes around. I'm not voting for Donald Trump.
Ryan Schmelz is with us now. There was and again, when you watched Trump last night, you would be clear that the end of America is near. He made that very clear, and that the world doesn't respect us. However, I got to say that while Biden was probably late to the game in Ukraine, it does seem like this is being managed properly, and it does seem like things are falling in line for the free world, for the Western world, certainly not for Russia, and that this has been a horrible mistake for the Russians. I mean, the fact that the war is still going on it shows that it's a mistake. So. I don't know who you give credit to except for the Biden administration for handling that. The other part that came yesterday is another member of NATO joined, and that was based completely on the invasion of Ukraine. So we are told. Ryan Schmelz has details on that right now from Fox News. Ryan, good morning. Okay, so we're up here. Hold on. We have phones today. Ryan, hold on. Is it possible it should be B? Hi, I think I got him. I got him now. I could be wrong. Hello, Ryan. Good morning.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's almost like
there we go.
The cell phone commercial. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Oh man, that's an old one.
That's an oldie goldie. That's an oldie goldie. Ryan, a 31st member of NATO.
That's right. Finland has now joined NATO, and currently the NATO is also working on getting Sweden into the partnership. But, you guys kind of mentioned how Russia is being viewed with this, and this is kind of viewed as a massive blow to Russia because, before the invasion of Ukraine, the Finnish people, the support for joining NATO was only about 20%, so you had less than a third of the country supporting it from a population standpoint. But then after the invasion of Ukraine started, that support upticked up to about 80%. So this was a massive shift, mainly because of Putin's invasion of Ukraine.
It is viewed as a blow to Russia, and I think as you say, the public opinion of getting involved or even getting involved with NATO, the public opinion was almost vehement. It was vehemently against. But they say within 2 weeks after the invasion of Ukraine, everything changed because I think there are countries that are looking at this saying if Russia can do it, Putin can do this to Ukraine, where does he stop?
Right, and you see that kind of argued a lot when it comes to trying to justify support and sending aid to Ukraine and why these different countries, whether it's a NATO country or a different country, should have a vested interest in the war in Ukraine. They say because this could really create a ripple effect. If Putin's willing to invade Ukraine, where else could he be willing to invade? So this kind of adds, now we're looking at 800 miles of border that Russia now has to share with a NATO ally. So this kind of adds that added security for, in fact, if Putin's trying to do something after Ukraine.
Yeah. Okay, in the midst of all of what's going on in New York City right now, this was some real news, I guess. Something different to focus on yesterday. Ryan, as always, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Let's do it again soon.
All right, thanks. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News. A couple of comments. Rob, morning shows on CNN and MSNBC all complaining that Trump should be gagged. Well, I do think the judge warned him. The judge warned him yesterday, apparently in the court, to be careful of the rhetoric that could possibly incite violence or what have you. Morning Joe is yelling about it. Unhinged tells you that there is no case here. And the answer to your next question, Rob, is yes. And thank you for asking. Mike this morning, how about the charge against Trump paying $30,000 to a doorman to keep undercover a love child? This is just this, and he closes by saying this is like a bad soap opera.
Yeah,
it kind of is.
Well, I got a couple of comments here as well. Conservative John in Boonville says you should play dumb Michael Rappaport's dumb little TikTok, which he made expressing his love for corrupt prosecutor Alvin Bragg.
Wow, Rappaport! I gotta say, I would play that, but I have to edit out all the F words.
Yeah.
So you know who Rappaport is? He is first of all a Trump hater. I didn't realize this, but he's an actor, and he's been in what movies? Davey, what movies? Has he been in? I don't know. I've seen him in movies.
Yeah, I've seen him in movies. Doesn't he do like a comedy routine too?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He also is like a frequent guest on NFL shows where he's like picking teams.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Where his
Fox.
expertise comes
On
from.
Fox.
Well, he's a huge TikToker, and he was in the crowd. The one I saw was he was in the crowd when Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she just can't help herself. She sees a crowd and expecting that the crowd is going to be all Trump supporters, and or maybe she didn't think that, but there was either way a miscalculation because she couldn't fit into the protesting crowd that was all roped off or barricaded off. So you had Trump supporters and those who don't support Trump on two different sides. They separated them. And Marjorie Taylor Greene couldn't get into the park because it was too crowded. They said, you can't get in. So she set up shop where she would go and give her speech and bring over the cameras over to another area outside the courthouse. And Rappaport followed her.
Yep.
And was like, go back to where you came from, you commie, you. I mean, it just. But every other word is an F word. I mean, I couldn't. This guy's an actor. No, he's not. He's a TikTok protester. You got to look up some of these. I mean, he is way out there. Like, has a lot of passion.
And then there was another representative from New York that was there yelling at Taylor Greene, you're not supposed to be here. Go back to where you came from.
Yeah. I watched her interview on 60 Minutes the other night. That was something. She doubled down on all Democrats are pedophiles. So,
Who did?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh,
doubled down. She doubled down on it. Well, they groom kids. They are for sex change for children. That's what pedophiles do. All Democrats are pedophiles.
I had to laugh during that because there was an NBC News reporter that was sitting in a Bronco when she was trying to get into the vehicle, and there he was. They did an interview with her for like 2 minutes, talking about her protest today, just driving down the streets of New York City. That's what they did yesterday with her.
I will have Ryan Nobles. It'll be interesting to see if he had any coverage on this yesterday. But Ryan will be on in the 8 o'clock hour, who is now with NBC. So the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing was interesting. It was a spectacle. There were people dressed up as Trump. There were anti-Trump souvenirs, tchotchkes. I mean, Bill Morehouse would have had a field day selling his tchotchkes there in New York City. Yeah, it was a circus atmosphere.
They had stuff like a hairbrush that said "Not my president's comb," stuff like that.
Yeah, because the hair on the comb was left behind was black or something. I don't know. It was just something to
pedophile hand sanitizer.
Something to watch. Yes.
Yeah, but did you notice that the major networks didn't cover his speech though?
Well, the major networks didn't cover most of it. And then after, when Trump gave his speech, CNN covered it and Fox covered
News,
it.
News Nation covered it.
Yep.
MSNBC didn't even cover it at all.
MSNBC didn't cover it.
Boycotted it. They just did Anchorage coverage.
Well, they did their who do they
Analyst
have? What's her name? Is the host there? So not everybody covered it. I don't know that everybody has to cover it or it's anything un-American to not cover it. It's clearly a campaign speech that you normally wouldn't cover, but it is a campaign speech that's coming after his indictment. I think it would have been newsworthy to cover, but MSNBC did not cover it.
So why? I guess I'm still stuck on this. Why everything went on in New York, and then he gets on a plane, flies to Florida, and then holds a press conference? Why didn't he just do it there?
And it was a rather short press conference. I thought it was much shorter than I expected. I don't know. Initially, they talked about him speaking in New York, but I feel like New York has become so much. I mean, New York was Trump's town. The AP did a very interesting story about, the town that basically built Trump has turned on Trump. At a time, New York was, he was a huge celebrity in New York. From The Apprentice to all the deals that he did back from in the 80s and 90s, he was always on page 6. And
all
now,
the people for work he didn't pay,
and that probably plays a bit of a role in all of that. So now he is, the city that was his has turned on him. He is no longer really welcome in New York. And maybe that's why he didn't do the speech there. But a rather small crowd inside Mar-a-Lago. It was not a big rally. It was more of a closed setting, and it was also interesting yesterday to watch the. To watch the Secret Service. And, they're not defending the president of the United States, but they're defending the former president and protecting the former president. But they, I believe the mission is the same. They would give their lives for the former president of the United States, just as they would for Clinton or for George Bush or whoever's still existing out there. Obama. But it was interesting to watch them as they're in a melee of people. And, their mission is to get him from inside that courtroom to a vehicle where he would be safe. So I would say that maybe they played a role in saying, let's not do this in New York City. Who knows? I don't know why it happened to Mar-a-Lago. But it was interesting. Let's see. A few more messages from Rob here. I'll look at that later. This is funny. Trump had to get off TV before Hannity was on because his attorney was on Hannity. Okay. So this was all timed out in conjunction with his campaign manager, Hannity. Yeah. So what do you make of it all? This is going to drag on forever, and you're going to get a case out of Georgia as well. And then there's the potential January 6th. All of this stuff is going to drag on. I don't think it will affect any of his supporters whatsoever. I don't think anybody's going to walk away saying, I support Trump. Now I don't after hearing this.
Right, I agree.
It is interesting, though, with Democrats all of a sudden looking the other way or I should say Republicans looking the other way at someone who's basically at this point, it's not even questioned whether he cheated or didn't cheat on his wife. Right?
I don't think that's ever an issue.
It's not an issue. It's not a question, and voters don't seem to care.
Well, it's interesting. So
20 years ago, a candidate would get out of the race.
Right.
And maybe Clinton was the change when all of that went down with Monica Lewinsky. Maybe that became the change. But today, it I guess doesn't really matter.
So this came from, I was sent this, and it's a screenshot of a New York Post article, and I'll read you just some of it here. Despite the American reputation for prudery, many of our leaders have had colorful sexual pasts. Our beloved president suffered the fatal stroke in his mistress's presence. Another had a 30-year affair and 7 children with his enslaved woman. Pull a name from a hat, there's probably a juicy story about him, even among the presidents we might not exactly consider salacious. Richard Nixon had an affair in the late 1960s with a Hong Kong cocktail waitress. Lyndon Johnson supposedly slept with 4 of his 6 secretaries.
He had some weird, the tapes showed some weird phone calls to Jackie Kennedy. Almost as if because he was, now president, that he could be like the is the baby daddy for John Jr. There were some weird conversations from Johnson.
Lyndon Johnson asking around before he hired a woman whether she would shuck her drawers. There's an old saying, still waters run deep. Franklin Roosevelt, a thoughtful, gentlemanly soul whose legs were paralyzed, was quite the ladies' man.
Well, he had. There's a whole movie about his relationship with a woman and the relationship he didn't have with his wife.
So I believe that's in today's New York Post. I don't know what the answer is, and I don't think it's okay.
There is no doubt about it. However, there was a time when the media would not run with stuff like that. You'd protect your president. And I think the change there was Nixon. That changed everything.
So, and Wayne says this morning, and I think he misunderstood your point, I think. He said, not for nothing, Trump has lost no ground in New York. It's a Democratic state. So I think what he's saying, he's talking about as far as maybe
First
support
of all,
at the polls.
Trump was a Democrat anyway. It doesn't matter.
You're talking before he got into the political.
I'm saying that Trump Trump sold newspapers in New York City. The reporters loved to talk about and he loved to feed reporters with. Remember, he played his own publicist. He would call up someone, change his voice, and say, "You're not going to believe what Trump did last night."
He's amazing, believe me.
Yes, believe me. So I'm not saying anything about politics. I'm saying that the city that was what the AP story was about. The city that basically built Donald Trump, or that Donald Trump used to build his reputation as a celebrity, has now hates him. He is not welcome in New York City. Has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican. They just have turned on him. And maybe it does have to do that now that he's a conservative Republican, all of a sudden that doesn't work in New York City. I don't know. But all I can tell you is the place where he was once welcome, where his name is all over the skyline, he's no longer welcome. That's the fact. It's not an opinion.
And here's the issue that I see, right? Even those who have moved on from Trump, I think Republicans, I'm talking, feel sympathy for him in this regard. And I do think this puts him as the odds-on favorite to be the Republican nominee, which I think is bad. I
think up to this point he's been the odds-on favorite. I would slightly disagree with you, and I think that the boost that he gets from this will end up deflating. Remember, we have a long time before the parties pick their candidate, and I think there's still a lot to happen. And now you're going to next up, it's going to be the conversation and the pressures that he put on officials in Georgia to overturn the election, and he was talking about that last night. Part of his speech last night was talking about how he really won the election. That conversation is not going to get him the votes that he needs to become president. It may get him the nomination, but it will not get him the votes he needs to become president of the United States. So I don't know where all of this goes. But that conversation, and you'll hear it from people who support him. Though the stolen election stuff gotta go. You got to start talking about what Biden is doing wrong and what you would do right, and stay away from that very bad January 6th and everything that came out of all of that talk. That's not going to win him the nomination, I don't think.
From my perspective, this is an absolute nightmare because I do think there's a good chance, there's a possibility he's the Republican nominee. And on the other side, if Trump's involved, I believe there's no chance he wins, and ultimately you have more Joe Biden. And
I still cannot imagine Joe Biden running again.
And Kamala Harris.
I just don't understand how they could have Joe Biden running. And then the other part of this is, I guess maybe they have no choice, because who else? What other Democrat's going to step up?
It's just a total political nightmare for me.
Man, this is the best we can do. Makes you wonder.
Kamala Harris sometimes gives Joe Biden a run for his money on the most.
She could never. I don't think she could win. I don't think she could win Utica School Board. I just don't think she could do it.
There is a meme out there, and I don't know if the number's true, but when they had the big primary when she was running for president the last time around, I think she got 1% in her own state. Was it 1% or 3%? Can't remember. But, I mean, I'm struggling here with the word, but when someone's starting to become senile or kind of doddering, I think she gives Joe a run for her money. Some of her quotes are like, what did she say? Did she not hear the question?
Wayne says, why in the world, knowing how he is being picked apart nonstop, would Trump want the attention?
He loves it.
Yeah, I think so. And I think probably, if you look through president, in order to become president of the United States, you got to have some narcissism in you, right?
Probably.
I mean, you got to. Of course, he's writing the book on narcissism, and I just think he needs it. He feeds off it. I don't get it. Listen, I wanted to talk about something completely different. Anything else you want to say?
No,
you want
go
to
ahead.
comment
I'm
on
over
this stuff? We'll talk more with Tanya Powers coming up.
I'd like to be awakened from a nightmare.
Call us your opinion on it. I'd love to hear and all of that.
Breaking news. The phones work.
Our phone lines are working again, 315-736-0186. But I want to tell you, if anybody's following, the Comets, of course, are going to be finishing the regular season coming up on the 14th, I believe, 15th. So that weekend, next weekend. But have you been following Utica City FC? Utica City FC is going to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And they had a game the other night that actually was pivotal in their playoff performance. They were down 3-0. And one of the players came out and got on the microphone and said, thank you for your support, riled everybody up and said, I'm making a prediction. Now they're down 3-0. I'm making a prediction. We're going to come back and score 4 goals and win 4-3. And everybody went wild. They came back and scored 4 goals and won 4-3.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, that happened the other night.
What is it? Has this indoor soccer become WWE? You get to address the crowd in between the match?
All I know is it was like, it was unbelievable, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's the beauty of arena soccer, indoor soccer. The beauty of it is it's fast action. There's a lot of scoring. Where if you watch the World Cup or something and, regular outdoor field soccer, scoring sometimes can be very slow.
Yeah.
But not indoors. It's a completely different world. It's fast action. They have named these lists are the dumbest things in the world, but we all flock to them, and I don't know why. The safest cities in America, the most unsafe cities in America.
Oh, right.
And they've got a new one. It's called the worst cities in America for allergies. And I can't believe they completely left us out because we are the worst community for allergies.
Well, so in
our region is the worst.
Right.
They'll tell you. I know someone who had severe allergies, and her doctor told her, move. Move. Your best shot is to move.
I know somebody who actually worked in radio and he may still work in radio, but had kind of had one of these type thing going on, and said, I've always, as far back as I can remember, had that delivery. But when I first started out, I do remember it wasn't quite as dramatic. And then went on vacation to Florida in the middle of summer for a week and came back and sounded like a different person. Yeah. And then within like 3 days, went back to this.
Right back to it.
So my only point is this. It's typically regional, right? Like crime, you could say, oh, Rochester's crime rate is up or it's down, but Utica's is the opposite, right? You can see fluctuations. Allergies, not so much, right?
Well, it's
not like this year Utica was top 10 in, pollen, but next year they fell to the lower 5th. It wouldn't happen that way, would it?
Upstate New York is home to some of the worst cities in America for seasonal allergies. Well, that is true.
Yeah.
The Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America has released its list of the top 20 allergy capitals in America.
Okay.
And certainly we should be there.
Yes.
And maybe our cities, our metro area is not large enough, but they have named Rochester the 20th worst in America. Rochester, New York.
Okay.
Wichita, Kansas, apparently worse than us. Dallas,
Really?
Scranton, PA, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Sarasota, Cape Coral, Florida, Orlando, Des Moines, Greenville. They just don't know upstate New York. I invite all of them to come up and watch them sneeze because this is the area.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we have a hard winter that gives us some relief. Maybe that. But by the time you get to ragweed season in the fall, I mean, people are just dying of allergies here.
Yeah, and I'm surprised to hear some of those warmer climate places where, I mean, I guess I don't know what their weather is like year round, but
Florida,
Dallas, Orlando, Oklahoma City.
Florida should win the most humid. The most humid,
sure.
Or even Myrtle Beach is really humid and just so humid in the summertime. But I just don't know those communities for those cities as being big allergy cities. I feel like that when we go there, we feel so much better. Like you said, when we come home, you're right back into the allergies.
Right.
But Rochester ranks 20th, the worst in New York State. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Let's see, what else do I have? Yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, Davey, but they have finalized the plans for the new Buffalo Bills Stadium.
Yeah.
What do you think of what you're looking at there?
Looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I saw a couple of renderings, and it's hard to tell. So what do the Bills have now? They have an artificial grass, or is that actual grass? I know it used to be the hard AstroTurf. That's what it used to be.
I think it's the same type of it's the same AstroTurf you have or turf you have that has the little black pebbles that pop up. They're not pebbles. It's rubber.
Rubber, yeah.
Right?
Interesting, because in the renderings I saw, at least to my eye, it looked like it was longer turf or longer grass, like you might see. I'm trying to think of a place, and I can't off the top of my head.
Well, I do know that
like Tampa Bay.
The Dome is a good example of that. They used to have some really difficult turf, and they have the rubber pieces in the turf now, which makes it a little less impact when you come to the ground. But I would think that theirs would be similar to what you would see in Buffalo.
Sure. Okay.
Let's see what else. Quickly, we'll talk more on Trump coming up next hour. Also, Fox legal expert Andrew Reed. We'll get to him. Hobica's free money question of the day. This morning, Mighty John, the record guy for the month of April. 10 records worth. It's springtime. It's clean out, spring cleaning. So there's a chance you might find something that could be valuable. And John will help us with that. If you have any records that you'd like to know the value of, he can give you his appraisal right there on the spot. And then Ryan Nobles from NBC, we'll be talking with him about all the Trump stuff and the reaction to everything that happened last night.
And I've got a couple of people mentioning the comedy show this weekend with, who is it?
This weekend, and maybe we'll give away some, Davey, you think we give away a few tickets here? This weekend, it's Easter weekend. It'll be a great weekend to try out Fat Cats Comedy Club, family home and that sort of thing. But go ahead. Oh,
sure.
This weekend is Chris Monty, who's a phenomenal comic, a legendary comic who has played the Northeast for several years, and it's just hilarious. You'll see him on TV and Comedy Central and HBO and all of that. He'll be in for shows Friday and Saturday here Easter weekend.
So looking forward to that.
All right.
We'll talk to him Friday, right?
And then, and then I'll tell you that next weekend will be Bob DeBono. I spoke with Bob yesterday. Bob does the most amazing Trump. And he'll be in for the second half of spring break. Next weekend is spring break for all the high schools. They're off all over again after Thursday or Friday. After that, it's Kevin Dabrowski. And an amazing comic is going to finish everything off. His name is Gemini. He's been here before. He combines magic and all sorts of. He does. He's a ventriloquist as well. He combines all of that into an amazing stand-up show, and he'll close out the season for Fat Cats Comedy Club. They'll take the summer off and be back in the fall. We'll have tickets to give away for all of it.
Awesome.
There you go.
And Gemini, he goes by a sign.
Gemini is a hilarious comic. Love him. And then one more. Can I throw one more before we break?
Sure.
Mike says a couple things. Did you see the recent story about Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch trying to use a trans person for an ad campaign, and they got huge backlash?
Yeah, I what's his name? Is it Kid Rock? Kid Rock is who I'm thinking of. Went out and, I believe pulled out a gun or his assault weapon and started shooting cans of Bud Light in his backyard.
Over a trans person?
Yes.
Man,
she's on the can. I believe she's on the she's
it doesn't
she's on
seem
the
like
can.
a Budweiser thing to get involved with, does it?
No.
Maybe that's where we are today.
Is this a company trying to copycat the M&M's
I
thing?
guess. And listen, with the culture wars going on out there right now, the worst dangerous thing out there to all of us right now, I think we all know what it is. It's drag shows. They're the most danger. That's the biggest danger that's out there today. I don't even. We went on vacation to. I have two drag. Do you want to hear my drag stories? I have two drag stories. Neither of which I was dressed in. So we went to a restaurant in New York City.
So you were naked at a drag show?
Went to a restaurant in New York City and this was years ago. I was much younger, and I don't think drag was things were not as acceptable as they are today.
Right.
And it was supposed to be a really nice restaurant. We sat down, and all the waiters and waitresses were in drag.
Okay.
And I feel really bad. I was like 22 years old, and me and my girlfriend were like, I think we're going to go somewhere else to eat. I felt really bad because the waiter who was playing the role, I guess, was a waitress, because clearly had facial hair. I mean, clearly, well, she could have been Italian. But it's, I'm joking.
Jeez, Bill.
It's a joke. It clearly was dressed in drag.
Don't you know we can't joke about anything anymore?
And I just felt like, I don't know, it wasn't for us, and we left. I probably wouldn't today. So about 4 years ago, we were in a Gunquit, which is an awesome place in Maine if you ever want to go on vacation. And there was nothing to do that night. And then all of a sudden, there's a big variety show playing at one of the bars there. So my wife and I went, and turned out it was a full drag show, and we stayed.
So
we
what
stayed.
is
It was entertaining. It was funny, and I wasn't offended by it at all. And by the way, they didn't convince me to be a drag person. I didn't change my sexual orientation. I was able to watch the show, and I survived it.
By the way, that's a very nice purple shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, and I'm
today.
wearing purple now. There you go. That tells you everything, doesn't it? But man, we're all up in arms over the drag stuff today. And by the way, it probably shouldn't involve kindergartners. That show didn't involve kids, by the way. Anyway, crazy world we're living in right now. I don't understand it. Got a break. WIBX Utica Rome at 7 o'clock.
The DA is a criminal. The judge and his family are Trump haters. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Former President Trump on the attack in a speech at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida after his arrest and arraignment on 34 felony charges falsifying business records.
This fake case was brought only to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election, and it should be dropped immediately.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg.
These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct.
The charges are about payments made to suppress negative stories before the 2016 election. The balance of Wisconsin Supreme Court is flipped. Voters electing a Democrat-backed justice to replace a conservative who's retiring. A former teacher, now a county commissioner, Brandon Johnson's elected mayor of Chicago.
He got noticed when he started talking about fighting crime by taxing the wealthy and businesses to pay for improved mental health treatment, youth jobs, and other programs. And during his victory celebration last night, Johnson said,
"Let's take this bold, progressive movement around these United States of America."
His opponent, former Chicago school CEO Paul Vallis, had promised to fight crime by expanding the city's police department. Johnson replaces the exiting Mayor Lori Lightfoot on May 15th. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Republicans may be strengthening their hold on North Carolina's legislature.
State Representative Tricia Cotham is reportedly expected to announce that she's switching parties and will join Republicans. The move would give the GOP a veto-proof majority in the state legislature. North Carolina Republicans have held majorities in both of the state's chambers in recent years, but the threat of a veto from Democratic Governor Roy Cooper prevented them from implementing much of their agenda. It's unclear why Cotham may be switching parties.
Fox's Chris DeMeo. The White House confirms President Biden's trip to Northern Ireland and Ireland next week. America's listening to Fox News.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh no, he's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-1441. That's 800-838-1441.
Cloudy skies, 45 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Well, Bill, we saw it again yesterday after last week's swatting incidents involving fake 911 calls to several schools in New York State, including high schools in Utica and Rome. A new round of threats coming this week to dozens of schools in the Empire State. Frankfurt Schuyler Central School District in Herkimer County made the decision to close yesterday, citing a threat against our school buildings. Meanwhile, in Waterville, the superintendent, Jennifer Spring, issuing a letter to parents yesterday saying the district was one of 40 or more schools to receive a bomb threat overnight. While Waterville did not close schools on Tuesday, Spring said law enforcement was contacted. A decision was made to keep students on the bus until a complete search of the school buildings was conducted. Ultimately, nothing was found. In fact, in each of the shots fired, active shooter, or bomb threat reports over the last 2 weeks, all have been deemed a hoax. However, the investigation to determine who is responsible is ongoing. Utica police involved in a multi-hour standoff at Kennedy Plaza Apartments yesterday afternoon. Police say a man confronted staff with a knife on at least 2 occasions and also threatened to harm himself and police. Ultimately, he surrendered when authorities decided to use a SWAT team to enter his 15th floor apartment. As I mentioned, this went on for several hours, about 6 hours, in fact. Police tried negotiating with the man for quite some time. At one point, he began throwing items off his 15th floor balcony and threatened to jump down himself. Again, when the SWAT team was called in, they broke down his door and he immediately surrendered. The man set to undergo a mental health evaluation. Once he is released, though, from the hospital, it is expected he will face felony-level charges for the incident yesterday. Wegmans, once again, a reason to celebrate after the company finds itself near the top of a newly released national list. The supermarket chain comes in 4th in a survey of the Fortune 100 best companies to work for. It's also the 26th time that Wegmans has been named to the list of best companies to work for. Cisco was first on the list, followed by Hilton and American Express. Police across New York State cracking down on distracted drivers over the next several days. It's part of the You Drive, You Text, You Pay campaign. It runs through Monday, April 10th. During last year's campaign, more than 65,000 tickets were issued for vehicle and traffic law violations. Of that total, more than 2,800 were for distracted driving. Penalties for such include fines, 5 driver violation points on your license, and a possible license suspension or revocation. Starting today, horse racing fans will be able to get their hands on season passes for the 2023 meet at Saratoga Racecourse. They'll cost $75 through the end of May, but that price will rise to $85 on June 1st and then $95 on July 1st. Season passes allow fans access to all of the amenities at the track, including the 40-day meet, which runs this year from July 13th through September 4th. More information online at nyra.com/Saratoga. Well, warm today, but we could see some stormy conditions later today. No pun intended.
Stormy.
I didn't mean that. That was an accident. Here's your forecast from Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Some sun today, breezy, warmer, scattered showers and storms. Highest likelihood for strong to severe storms in the evening to the west, a high near 65. Any showers and storms diminished
55.
tonight, remaining pretty mild and windy, a low near 55. And not as warm tomorrow, but still mild. Isolated rain showers linger. Partly sunny, breezy, cooler late day, a high near 58. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Cloudy and 45 at 7:07. All right, checking sports. What's going on with the Mets? Blown out again yesterday.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
9-0 they lost to the Brewers. Max Scherzer was tagged with the loss. He allowed 5 runs, including 3 home runs over 5 1/3 innings. Brandon Nimmo and Jeff McNeil each had 3 hits for the Mets, but no runs. The Mets close out their 3-game series this afternoon with left-hander David Peterson getting the start.
I had, and by the way, the Mets don't seem to score runs for him. Actually, the Mets don't seem to score runs, period, right now. I have family staying at my house, and they are Yankees fans. So I initially turned on the Mets game last night and saw the Mets were down 5-0. I'm like, well, let's go to a winning team. And I flipped over to the Yankees game, which was hard to find, by the way. And I finally found it on Amazon.
Smitty's a little upset because you didn't get to watch the game.
Well, TBS was supposed to have the game.
Yeah, but it's blacked out because Amazon had it.
It was on Amazon Prime.
So I turned over to Amazon, finally found it, and the Yankees were down 4-0.
Yeah, I ended up listening to it on the radio with John Sterling and Susan Waldman.
All right. Sorry, Davey.
Always disappointing, huh, Smitty?
No,
I'm talking about Susan Waldman and John Sterling.
The game was terrible, though.
Yeah.
The Phillies finally in the win column. That was their first victory of the season. 4-1. They beat the Yankees. DJ LeMahieu drove in the only run of the game for the Bronx Bombers, a solo shot, his first home run of the year. Yankees now 3-2 on the season. They'll close out their 3-game set with the Phillies coming up later this afternoon. Garrett Cole is scheduled to make the start. A former Arizona Cardinals executive comes forward with allegations against team owner Michael Bidwell. Former team executive Terry McDonough has filed an arbitration claim to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, claiming Bidwell was involved in gross misconduct that includes cheating, discrimination, and harassment. McDonough worked for the Cardinals as their vice president from 2014 through 19. He said he wants to prevent Bidwell from treating others the way he was treated. Now, the Cardinals told ESPN that those claims are outlandish. The Raiders adding another quarterback to their roster. Las Vegas has signed Brian Hoyer to a 2-year contract on Tuesday. The Philadelphia 76ers got 52 points from Joel Embiid last night. They beat the Celtics 103-101. The Knicks are hoping to get one of their top players back for tonight's game in Indianapolis. R.J. Barrett listed as questionable with an illness in advance of tonight's battle with the Pacers. Earlier reports said Barrett would be available, but his official status remains uncertain. The Nets' winning streak came to an end after 3 games. They were topped by the Timberwolves 107-102 last night at the Barclays Center.
Masters gets underway tomorrow.
Yes, how did I forget to mention that? So excited about the Masters. Love the tournament. You're telling me the live guys are in there, right?
And
there's 18 live guys in there, Jeff.
And Tiger Woods is going to take a shot at it.
One more story. The Jets have yet to pull the trigger on a deal for Aaron Rodgers. And according to FS1, the San Francisco 49ers and Packers have been in conversations about Aaron Rodgers. San Francisco's trade package includes multiple third-round picks, this draft, and a first-rounder next year. 3 weeks ago, the veteran signal caller said he was 90% sure he was going to retire before he attended that darkness retreat. He then said his intention was to play for the Jets in 2023. Still, that deal has not been worked out. And I've seen I don't even know if you can trust the media in any regard. I see media reports that say the Jets are on the brink of their second huge deal this offseason to get Odell Beckham Jr. But, hello, they never have finalized the first deal. So wouldn't it be something if the Jets don't get Rodgers, they don't get Beckham? Who did they sign? They signed a former Packers wide receiver, though. They did pick somebody up. But I just, as a Giants fan, sorry, Jets fans, I just find this story hilarious.
Listen,
not going to get either one of them.
Did you see that baseball history occurred yesterday?
No.
In Major League Baseball. Davey, did you see that baseball history occurred?
No.
No, it did. There's a new pitch clock. I don't know if you're following along, but the pitch clock is there, and not everybody is handling it well. I find it interesting, and the games are moving.
Yeah.
The games are really moving along. I may be happy with this. But Manny Machado didn't get used to it during the preseason, apparently, and he was thrown out. And it's the first time a player has been ejected over an argument involving the pitch clock.
You know, I saw in the Mets-Marlins series at the first series they played a few days ago, Avisel Garcia got called out, strike 3.
Because he didn't get back in the box in time.
Yeah, and it was... this was actually more intricate than that because he was in the box, but you need to be looking at the pitcher with 8 seconds left, and he kind of glanced down and looked up, and it was like 7 by the time he looked up, 7 seconds left. And I thought that was a little nitpicky, even though it was in favor of my team. I did think that was a kind of nitpicky. But what happened here with Machado?
Well, he was ejected in the first inning of yesterday's game between the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was wasting time in the batter's box and was called out, but then argued the point, and they ended up kicking him out of the game in the first inning. Here's audio from yesterday.
That's a strikeout. There's a violation. Ron Culpa just rung up Manny Machado. We're on the clock here this year, and that's an automatic strike, and it happens to be strike 3. Here comes Bob Melvin. And somebody's been ejected. Looks like Machado. The inning just ended on a pitch timer violation with Manny Machado at the plate, and now it looks like his day may be done. That's an automatic strike 3.
Yeah, I got to say that you're going to see, at a time where they want to bring in computers, basically, robotic umpires, that are going to send a message to the umpires who are standing out there, and that's the call they have to make in order to make the game more accurate and more fair. But then you give full power to the umpires to make a call like this. And I find it very interesting, right? You're taking away the umpire's ability to call a game, but now they can be like, hey, wait a minute, you were looking down. You weren't looking at the pitcher. I mean, this is going to cause all sorts of craziness.
Yeah, look, get in the box and get ready. It's
I guess.
But you do like the quicker game, though, huh?
I couldn't believe the other day because it's normally, let's say a game starts at, like the other day, they started playing at what time? 4 o'clock. And at 6:30, I'm like, I said to my wife, it's kind of nice out. I'm going to go out into the screen room and watch the rest of the Mets game. And the game was over. I couldn't believe it. It was over with. I mean, these games are lasting a little over 2 hours. And then there's some others that go a little longer. But in this case, the game only went like 2 hours and 5 minutes. So,
I like it. I'm not saying because it's less baseball, but again, I'm not going to tell the DOT joke again, but it's nice to see the game moving along, and it is.
Not the Yankee game on Fox on Saturday. That was over 3 hours long.
Yeah, it went long.
Yeah.
Donna this morning. Oh, boy, I think I've done it. Are you making fun of Italian women and their facial hair?
Yeah, I thought you kind of stepped in it there.
Look at the bodies of the males. They look like apes with all that fur. And Lebanese women's facial hair is much worse. LOL. We're starting some trouble here today. We are starting some trouble. You know what the worst is when you're with a blonde who's a natural blonde, and she says, I don't have to shave my legs. You can't see it. I'm not going to tell you whoever said that to me. I won't say.
We should.
Are you talking about?
We should move this conversation to a podcast. I don't want to get fired today.
Got a break. It's 7:16 at WIBX.
Spring has sprung. It's the Strong Spas Factory Store Spring Sale all month long. Sangertown Square. Blowout prices on floor models and factory recertified spas. Clearing out the floor to make room for more. Immediate delivery. It's a spring super sale at Strong Spas. Visit the largest spa showroom in the country. Huge savings. Price to move. See for yourself. Find them in Sangertown Square and ask about their financing options for credit-qualified buyers. Get in your spa at Strong Spas. Hurry, these spas won't last.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
What if you could do business without busy work? With Ramp, you can.
Ramp is the future of finance with smart automation, corporate cards, and spend management. Just imagine, no more expense reports or shuffling wrinkled receipts. No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea with smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/finance. That's ramp.com/finance to get $250 for signing up. That's ramp.com/finance.
Hi, Laura here from the Old Wicker Mill. Do you realize Easter is early this year? It's this Sunday. Are you ready? Not to worry, the Old Wicker Mill has everything you need to make your Easter perfect. There's goodies like jelly beans, chocolate pizza, chocolate-covered Peeps, chocolate-covered Oreos, and fun toys, books, puzzles, and a new large shipment of Squishmallows just arrived to fill those little ones' Easter baskets. Maybe your team would like something unconventional, like a bog bag, Vera Bradley tote, or maybe a Pandora ring. And of course, you'll need something new to wear. The Old Wicker Mill was voted the best women's fashion store in Central New York, with great brands like Habitat, Charlie B, Jess and Jane, Lulu B, and Ethel, just to name a few. So I'm sure you'll find the perfect new addition to your wardrobe for Easter, or just spring. So for all your Easter needs, it's the Old Wicker Mill. We're conveniently located at the New Hartford Shopping Center. And remember, everything we carry is fun, functional, and affordable.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
7:18, and I want to go quickly to Tanya J. Powers. She has just a minute to give us, maybe a minute and a half. But Tanya from Fox News was in the midst of, in Lower Manhattan last night, in the midst of all of it. It was a spectacle, Tanya.
That is one word for it. Yes, it was quite interesting because you had both groups. The law enforcement had already, had plenty of days to plan out. Okay, how are we going to handle the protests, things like that? They are pros at this because I did not witness anything kind of like anywhere near violent or physical or anything like that. People were not like hauled away in handcuffs or anything. They did have a giant corrections bus on one of the side streets that I saw, just in case.
That's funny.
I don't think they had to use it, but I'm sure it's there. Somebody could have been arrested for something, but nothing that I saw. No like physical, issues or anything like that. There was just a lot of yelling for several hours yesterday, back and forth.
It is so funny how they put the anti-Trump on one side of the barrier and the pro-Trump on the other. And they're yelling back at each other. It was really something.
Yeah, that's basically what they did for hours and hours yesterday. Every now and again, one from the other side would come over to, whichever side that they weren't supposed to be on. And just enter the park on that side and agitate people from time to time. That would happen a good bit. But, everybody just, it didn't turn into anything more than just yelling and, stuff like that. It was a spectacle. That is the best way to put that.
I know you have another hit, and our phone lines have kind of clogged things up this morning, but I appreciate you taking at least 2 minutes with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Have a great day. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. And while our phone lines are fixed, I can do this. When I call the phone lines, watch this. I'll be able to do it live on the air. You ready? This is what I'm getting. What's our phone number? 736-0186. I'm going to dial it right now. See what we got.
Your call cannot be completed at this time. Please try again later.
En este momento no se puede realizar su llamada. Favor de intentar más tarde.
Hola.
Message 6. US01LV.
All right, Larry, what does that mean, man? Larry's a phone. I know he's listening right now. Larry, what does that mean? We've gotten a special message, a special code. Is it telling us something? He's a former phone guy.
LV001.
Yeah. What happens if I call it again? 736-186. Let's try it again. See what happens. Here we go. Call number 2. Yeah.
Your call cannot be
I
completed
tested
at
this
this time.
yesterday.
Please try again later.
After
En este momento no se puede realizar su llamada.
What if we all do
Favor
it?
de intentar más tarde.
What if we all do it?
Message 6. US01LV.
US01LV. I wonder what that means. I wonder if we all call at the same time. Everybody calls at the same time and see what happens.
We're all going to get the same message.
Well, but you may be rolling over to another line. Maybe the second line works, but the first line doesn't. The first line of the rollover doesn't work.
I didn't think that was possible, but
all right,
let's
do everybody. So the number's
my phone's dead.
315. Davey, you going to do it? Ready? I'll tell you one. 315-736-0186. And anybody from home you want to call and give it a try. See if you get through. Ready? 315-736-0186. And dialing. Okay, I'm looking at the lights. No lines. Oh, that's me.
Your call cannot be completed at this time. Please try again later.
You're getting the same thing, Davey? Yeah. I wonder if I can call out.
I believe you. I tried this yesterday. I called in and called out, and it worked. And again, didn't we had Ryan Schmelz from Fox at 6:30 this morning?
Yeah.
It's calling you, right?
Yeah, let's see who it is. Hello.
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 Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Stop it! Please. Sorry. Well, that was fun. Glad everything's working well. You mentioned Kid Rock. I feel like we have been deprived in America.
Of Kid Rock?
We have been deprived over the course of the last 10 years. There's been a major decline in being able to pick on someone. Follow me here, right? I mentioned the Italian joke. That's bad. How could you do that?
Mm-hmm.
That is offensive. You shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody else mentioned Lebanese. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. You can't.
I think that today we're in a position where we have been beaten down. That it used to be you could pick on people. And today, and it's all in good fun, right? It was supposed to be all in good fun. Nobody's trying to be mean. So what's happened is we've been so deprived. You can't pick on this one. You can't pick on that one. You can't say something about this one. Going to get you fired. You're going to be canceled if you pick on this one. And the list goes on and on and on. But out of nowhere, they gave us transgender and drag. And now there seems to be a green light to go after those two groups. And I find that very interesting.
I don't think there's a green light to go after those groups.
Here's Kid Rock shooting up the Budweiser cans. I mean, that's totally going because Budweiser did a campaign with a transgender. I mean, how is that not? Imagine if Budweiser did a campaign with any other. Think about all the things you can't pick on. You can't say. You can't poke jokes at. Right? You'll be canceled.
Right.
All of a sudden, it's okay for Kid Rock to go out and be like, "I can't believe you would associate yourself, Budweiser, with transgender. Therefore, I'm going to take my shotgun and blow up your cans of beer." How does he get away with that?
Yeah.
In a world where we can't pick on anybody. We can't pick on anybody. There are no jokes about anybody.
I also see here from Rolling Stone, it says, Kid Rock cried as he shot up 12-packs of Bud Light to protest the brand partnering with trans actor Dylan Mulvaney. I don't think he cried.
Here's the audio that I have.
Over. I can't believe
it is doubtful Kid Rock will ever be doing a Bud Light commercial going forward. See, it wasn't Budweiser, it was Bud Light that did this.
Right.
So after Bud Light partnered with a trans activist, Kid Rock posted a video of himself shooting cases of Bud Light and saying a powerful bridge-burning statement about the beer company. Do you understand, though, that that's what this is all about? They did could you imagine the days in the Deep South where Budweiser did their first campaign with a black person? With an African-American, and all of a sudden there was somebody up in arms. I can't believe I won't drink Budweiser anymore. That had to have happened during the days of when there was segregation, probably in the 40s and 50s and even in the 60s. But this is okay. He has not been canceled for this. I find it very interesting.
Yeah,
right?
not yet.
So why is it okay to do it to a transgender person. I guess I don't understand it all. Here's the audio. This is bleeped audio, just so you know. Here we go. Check it out.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today.
Okay, hold on. It's not playing because I had to unplug it to take phone calls.
Yeah, so he threw out the Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today thing, and I didn't hear him crying. I don't know why they're saying he was crying.
Here is the audio. Here it is.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible.
Wow, he's got quite a gun.
Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
So that is all over the fact that they have partnered with a transgender person.
I guess so.
Yeah. Kid Rock shot up some cases of Bud because of their partnership with a trans activist. I don't know. Ann says, I do miss the days of Don Rickles. I met him, and he cracked me up with Italian jokes. He said them right to my face. Yeah, that was him. Don Rickles was he was an equal opportunity offender.
Dana says, remember the days Archie Bunker was on TV and everyone loved it? People
God.
would die today.
Well, but, you know, what's funny about Archie Bunker is he was very liberal. And that was done as a teaching, I believe. But today you can't even teach by using those words. But back then, you watch some of those old shows. Yeah.
I mean, you had people walking off the set of, I can't remember what movie, because one of the characters in the movie was racist or made a racist comment.
Yeah.
This was like 6 months ago. That they were like, we can't do a movie like this. One of the characters is just said a slur. And they were like, yeah, that's the point. He's a bad character. We want to make him look bad.
Correct.
And
it's like it's like everybody that went nuts over 60 Minutes the other night. It angers me so much that they all flipped out because 60 Minutes was interviewing Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I couldn't wait to watch that interview because I do think she's a whack job. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just think she is. And has a huge following in Georgia, especially in rural Georgia. But all these people on Twitter were fuming at 60 Minutes for interviewing her. How dare you? Why would you give her it's the old, why would you give her a soapbox? Why would you give her a platform to spew her hate? I mean, that's bullcrap. You have to interview people. Of all people should be interviewed. That's what journalism is based on. You learn from these people. And maybe you don't want to watch it. Just don't watch it. But to say we should not interview A, B, and C because of their views, and maybe their views are horrific. I don't know. David Duke was a KKK guy. Remember, the first argument I had here at this radio station 10 years ago was I wanted to interview David Duke. And everybody said, why would you give him a platform? And I'm not giving him a platform. Don't you want to know what makes people tick? Isn't that the curiosity that we have as human beings? And to me, that's what the freedom that we have in the United States is why it's so different than what we have around the rest of the world. If we prejudge every interview, then all of a sudden, what happened? Now we're going to prejudge because I don't like this person because their views are Republican or they have Democrat views. It's a slippery slope to get on, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
Interview her and then form your judgment. Do whatever you want, but interview her.
No, Bill, sorry. We have one narrative, and we're not allowed to deviate from that narrative. You're allowed to think what you think, and we're not allowed to hear from the guest.
I guess that's where we are. By the way, we just got a phone call in. Came in like no problem at all. It's a random thing around here. Oh, no, you had to call him? Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Davey.
Good.
For being on top of your game. Andrew Reed is our legal expert. Here's how this works. I throw topics at him, and he gives us the truth. Now, that's the way it should be, right? You get somebody's opinion. Hello, Andrew Reed. Good morning.
Morning.
We were just talking about how I hate the fact that everybody was flipping out over 60 Minutes interviewing Marjorie Taylor Greene. How dare you give her a platform? It just amazes me that we're trying to create this society where nothing is offensive, and it just blows my mind.
It's one that is one of those. It can be intriguing. I think of it going back to how we would want it in a courtroom, which is you would interview everyone and hear everyone's story. So it's one of those you need to always hear all sides of every story.
You're absolutely right.
I'll tell you, this first story we have here is offensive to me.
All right.
I'm kind of angry about it.
You don't want us to be talking about it?
No, I think
All
we
right.
should talk about it and expose the people who arrested this woman.
A mother sentenced for brandishing a gun toward the daughter's attacker.
Sexual assault victim.
She has been sentenced. I can't believe this. Number one, where did it happen? What do you know about this, Andrew?
Yeah, so there's actually a little background to the story. So it happened in Michigan, and from the reports that I've read on this, the mother in question actually drove quite a few miles to the town where this young adult that had sexually assaulted her daughter was at, and she found him at a park and then brandished the gun at that park with other children around, other teenagers around. So it's one of those, when you know a little more of the backstory, then it makes a little more sense.
The headline,
why this happened.
the headline alone makes me say she was in the right. But you know what? I know somebody who was going to find out, was afraid they were going to find out that their kid had been molested by a coach. And the state police, the trooper said to the person, whatever you do, do not take matters into your own hands because I'll have to put you in handcuffs. I know this is horrible. Let us do our job. We can't turn into a world of vigilantes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Well,
I
hold on.
understand her frustration. I get it.
This is my now she's on probation for 18 months, so she's not behind bars. But why isn't this loser in jail?
So my understanding from the reports that I have found and read on this is that there's a program in Michigan for, in particular, these types of situations for young teens and young adults when these types of charges are brought. And there's a program there that they do have to serve some, I believe, from one of the reports I read, community service type hours. And some of those are supervised where it can be equivalent to being behind bars in some cases, but it is a program to try to get them back out there because in Michigan, they do acknowledge that sometimes these types of situations are actually blown out of proportion. And so that sometimes the state does have to step in and charge someone when maybe charges might necessarily should have been brought if all the facts and stories were made known to the public.
So if it's a story of they're in a high school circle, she just happens to be 16 years old, he is 17 or 18 years old, they're all friends, and all of a sudden this happens, and the dad finds out or the mom finds out they want the kid arrested for rape. In that case, I think we should have some understanding of the situation.
Yes.
And is that what you're talking about, Andrew?
Yes, effectively, that's what.
Okay. This is not someone who raped someone, attacked and hunted and.
Well,
and
it says he
somebody.
pled guilty to assaulting her.
Yeah, the assault would be the sexual contact, right?
I'm not sure how Michigan defines it, but as a general rule, that would be the definition of that assault.
Okay, well, all right, fair enough. And in no circumstance can the mother take a gun and go to a park somewhere and point it at the kid. That just is not a proper thing to do. Topic 2, Aaron Hernandez's brother arrested in an incident involving ESPN. What is this?
So apparently Aaron Hernandez's brother went and actually from the reports I've read, they believe he used an Uber to get driven to ESPN headquarters and threw a bag with a note and a brick in it at the ESPN headquarters building and doing a little bit of damage from one of the reports I read. The other one didn't state whether there was actually damage there, but nonetheless, he actually signed this note so we know who did it. And then he was also involved in several police chases and had committed some other offenses throughout the state there earlier in the day. So this one was just one of those, just a crazy set of circumstances and just a weird situation all around.
All right, now hold on. Let me read you the note. I've got the note here. Well, not the actual note, but what the note said. To all media outlets, it's about time you realize, spelled real eyes.
Okay.
It's about time you realize the effect media has on all family members. Since you're a worldwide leader, maybe you could lead how media and messages are delivered brick by brick. Clean it up. Yours truly, Dennis J. Hernandez.
Well,
look, I understand, right, that it probably caused some anguish, right, because there have been docuseries and a lot of reporting about Aaron Hernandez. I mean, he allegedly killed at least one person. It's also alleged, not that anybody should care, that he was married, but he was actually in the closet and didn't want people to know that he was gay. So he's talking about, and I can understand there being some anguish, but he was a public figure. It's reporting. It's news reporting. I love the spelling of real eyes. REALEYES.
Andrew Reed, we're speaking with Andrew Reed, a legal expert through Fox News. Do you have time for one more, Andrew?
I have some time.
Okay. Twitter says parts of its source code leaked online. What do we know about this one?
Yes, so they found some of their code, and there's been differing reports as to how much of the code was actually made available through a group called GitHub, which is a collaboration space for software developers. And it was found on there. And Twitter took immediate steps, and GitHub actually complied with. They had what's called copyright infringement request. They had a takedown notice, so GitHub took it down. But at the same time, Twitter went and filed a request, basically a court case, saying that their trade secrets had been violated, so that they could then go to GitHub and find out who posted this.
Okay.
It's one, if you've followed much of what's going on with Twitter, some reports are saying upwards of 75% of their employees have either been let go or have resigned.
Wow.
So that's since Elon Musk took over in October. So it's one, there's a lot of questions as to where this source code came from. Was it a disgruntled employee? Was it somebody that, through all this turmoil that's been going on with Twitter, if you want to call it that was able to maybe hack in? That's where they're trying to get down to the bottom of this and figure it out. Because it does raise a lot of issues for companies that do have trade secrets. You want to make sure those remain trade secrets.
No doubt about it. Well, Andrew, I got to say, you threw some really good stories at us today. Very complex stories in many regards. So we appreciate it as always. We'll do it again. Thank you, Andrew Reed.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Thanks, and a great week. Got a break. Davey, we want to do our free money question of the day. You want to take a shot? See if somebody can get through the phone lines? You don't think they can. All right. You cannot get through the phone lines, so here's what we're willing to do. Message Jeff through the app. Just message us. We'll call out to you, and you take a shot at winning Hobica's free money question of the day. But you got to message us right now. 315-736-0186. Doesn't work, but we will call you from that number. But you must message Jeff with your name and your phone number through the app. We'll call you back and give you a chance to win today's free money question of the day. 740 at WIBX.
Hi, this is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance with exciting news. We are expanding with a couple of new offices in our area. One new location is North Country Estates Insurance in Lowville. They are another independent insurance agency that takes pride in making customers happy and fits our culture at Gates Cole perfectly. Here is William Schaub from the newest Gates Cole agency, North Country Estates Insurance in Lowville.
Working with us as an independent agent with this many companies, we will often call our clients and say, we're going to reduce your premium if you like. We have the companies that do well in New York and specifically this area. The coverages that we provide are commercial and personal insurance. That's the home, the auto, ATV, motorcycle. There's nothing more fun than taking care of a customer and being able to tell them that we're able to save them some money.
Proudly representing Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty Company of Trumansburg, New York. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom. And
put in a pool? Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Spring brings all around us the promise of new life and new beginnings. Those new beginnings can mean a number of different things. For many in our area, a new beginning can mean the difference between living a life of purpose or a life of despair. There are many whose bad choices have led them into a world of substance abuse, while others have innocently suffered neglect and abuse. Each person deserves a chance at a new beginning, and you can help make that happen with a simple donation to the Rome Rescue Mission. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs such as food and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. This spring, as we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, consider providing a new life for someone who needs it. Please donate now at romemission.org. That's romemission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Hey, Davey, I think this morning we're going to give away Hobika's money. I just have a feeling that we're going to give it away. Let's talk about River Hills Properties and Bill and Robin Moncho, their philosophy in selling homes. Yesterday, I had an entire conversation with one of their agents, Andrew Dominio.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all about, because I know someone who's decided now they're going to sell their home. And there's a lot that has to be done. There's a ton that has to be done. I almost feel like this person is dealing with a mountain of work. And I made a phone call to, and this could have been to Andrew or any of the listing agents at River Hills Properties. And what do we do? What do they do? How can you help them? And this means when I say start to finish, they work with you. The listing agent at River Hills works with you from start to finish. I mean from start to finish. And it could very well be, there's so much stuff that has to come out of the house. There's improvements that need to be made or what have you. They'll come in and help arrange. They go out of their way to assist. I told you the time, and you know this as well, the time that Andrew actually helped a woman repair her porch.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't repaired, they couldn't sell the house.
I don't think I still ever got that ladder back.
That's the Andrew way, not the River Hills way.
I'm kidding. I did get it back.
It's the relieving of the stress. It's the River Hills way of selling your home. They work for you. Call them today. They're located in Barneveld, offices in Little Falls and Utica, serving all of upstate New York. It's riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Online, 315-896-1009. River Hills Properties. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. If you have severe pain, there is help. I'm speaking of Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgical Center in Utica. My father had debilitating back pain. He couldn't sleep. No way to stop the pain. Nothing worked. He received a non-surgical injection treatment from Dr. Hyder at Omni Surgical, and the pain was eliminated. I describe this as nothing short of a miracle. There is relief out there. Call the Omni Surgery Center today. Omni Surgery Center, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery.
Discover the difference that comes from a financial partner committed to building better tomorrows. I'm Jim McGuire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Utica. As a provider of trusted financial services in Utica, Baird is committed to making the future brighter for you and for our community. That's why we support local organizations like the Women's Fund of Herkimer and Oneida counties and the Capitol Theater in Rome, because we care about Utica. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
Refresh and renew your home this spring with Little Falls Lumber. They're fully stocked with secondary grade metal in all colors and 12-foot lengths. An affordable option for fixing utility sheds, roofs, or garages. Looking for lumber and tired of the warped pieces from the big box stores? Then go to Little Falls Lumber, where they stock only premium grade lumber. Stop in to one of their 3 convenient locations: Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady. Little Falls Lumber, helping you refresh and renew this spring. Call 315-823-2470 or visit littlefallslumber.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, let's do our free money question of the day. And it's from the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. And if you need any legal assistance, 315-724-1600 is the phone number. Jack is in Rome and ready to take a shot. Hi, Jack. Good morning. Thanks for using the app and making your way through. The app is easily downloadable. It's absolutely free. Go to WIBX950.com for details, or go to your Google Play or App Store and search WIBX950. Hi, Jack. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Today is the day we're going to break the drought, and we're going to give away $100. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I feel like it. So here we go. Here's your question. You'll have 7 seconds. Remember, get your answer in before 7 seconds is up. Here we go. You're at a restaurant. Close your eyes and think about it, Jack. You're at a restaurant. Great service. You didn't spend too much. You're at a restaurant. The bill is $15. If you tip 20% on a $15 bill, what will the tip be? Ready, go.
$3.
Stop it right now. We have a guy that can figure things out in his head. Unlike every person at a convenience store today. Nobody can figure out math anymore. Jack,
I know.
Congratulations. Thank you. There is hope in the world. Thank you, Jack.
Well, usually you figure it's about, for every $10, or for every $5, it's $1 tip.
Bingo. However you figure it out, you don't have the fact that you can do it in your head. You know, today the cash registers do all the figuring out for them. God forbid the cash register goes down, you have a stalemate. They'd rather give you the stuff for free than have to figure it out. $3 tip on a $15 bill. It's 20%. Congratulations. Easy one today, Jack. As I said, today we're giving away the money. So stand by. Davey's going to hook you up. In addition, though, if you want to spend a great weekend, Easter weekend with family and friends at Fat Cats Comedy Club, we'll hook you up with a table for 6 or whatever you need. Davey will take care of you. And we'll also give you the Utica All-in-One Food and Fun card. It's a $25 gift card, good at any of their restaurants over at the Adirondack Bank Center. Aquavino, which is newly located over in New Hartford at the old Outback location. It's awesome. Babe, 72 Tavern and Grill, Taylor and the Cook, and any of the concession stands at Nexus or the Adirondack Bank Center. So there you go, Jack. Nice job.
Thank you, guys.
Stand by. Davey's going to hook you up, and we appreciate it. Davey, take him. I do want to tell you, too, if you're planning your Easter dinner and you're looking for the most melt-in-your-mouth, delicious rolls, dinner rolls, the snowflake rolls are back for a limited time at Daylight Donuts, but you have to put your name on the waiting list, on the list, if you will, and they'll have them ready for you this weekend for Easter dinner. Just go to Daylight Donuts in New Hartford, put your name in, and you'll have them. We use them for Thanksgiving, for Christmas dinner, and for Easter every year. It's become a tradition. People walk into the house, and they're like, where are the snowflake rolls? And I say, I've got them. They're ready to go. Located at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. You can check all of that out. Manaski has comments, opinion, the Trump thing that went down yesterday, the craziness in Lower Manhattan yesterday. It was just, it was interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least.
And again, I tried to stay as far away from it as I could. I did see a still shot of Trump standing in a hallway. He looked quite disappointed.
He did have a very stern look on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the typical.
But then last night he gave the speech. It was a completely different. He was in his own element last night.
So what was the Michael Rappaport thing? Is he's anti-Trump?
Oh, yeah, he hates Trump.
Okay, because, again, this was Conservative John this morning saying you should play dumb Michael Rappaport's dumb little TikTok. He made expressing his love for corrupt prosecutor Alvin Bragg.
It's so
It's
funny,
both parts
though.
ridiculous and hilarious.
It's so funny to be. So who was that? And
John.
In the North Country. And his Rappaport's dumb diatribe, his dumb display of stupidity. Whereas I had it described to me yesterday quite differently. You've got to hear this brilliant demonstration that Rappaport did on TikTok. And again, it depends on, this is where America is today. It depends on who you're talking to. He clearly has an audience. I mean, if you look at the number of views he gets on TikTok, it's enormous. So it's telling you that America is very much divided.
Well, and I want to say
one person's idiot is another person's genius.
Yeah, he's got TikTok. Of course, he's an actor. But, I want to say he does a weekly segment during the football season with either, why can't I think of his name? Simmons, Bill Simmons, or maybe the Dan Patrick Show. And I thought to myself, wait, is this Michael Rappaport the actor? Why is he an NFL expert?
He's a pontificator.
Now, not to be confused with Ian Rappaport, who is the NFL insider someplace.
And has huge TikTok numbers. By the way, somebody asking, saying, when I figure out the tip, I do it differently. Okay? How do you figure out because the 20% of a $15 bill, that's an easy question.
Yeah.
As I said, we're going to give away money. It just popped up in my trivia feed. So how do you figure that out in your head?
Yeah, I usually just do a fifth of it, So and I usually don't go, it's $1 for every 5. I usually think in terms of $20 or $25.
So this person says, well, how I do it is 10%. So you
double it?
10% and double it. So it's $1.50 times 2 is $3. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one way to do it. Another thing people do with the 8 3/4% is they say you just double it. Now you don't get the full 20%, but you get about 19, 18
double the tax.
The tax. I'm sorry, not the tip.
And
the tax.
the other thing people will tell you is, are you a frugal tipper or are you someone who just tips, or are you someone who says, hey, next time do it this way? That's a different type of a tip. So the frugal tipper will tell you, I do 15% of the bill minus the tax.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Boy, I'm a pretty cheap person, and I don't even do that.
In terms of customary way to tip, you are supposed to tip the bill, not the tax. So you would figure it out based on if your bill comes to $30 and then they add tax, you only tip on the $30.
Okay.
So it would be 15 or 20%, whatever you want to do, on the on not the overall bill, but the bill minus the tax.
Well, and I always do whatever the total is. I do factor in the tax, but I'll tell you, I don't tip for. There's a few things I don't tip for. I don't know. You go into the store, anywhere you go. If you go in to get a coffee, if you go to a place that sells coffee, I mean, one of the brands that specializes in coffee and donuts. There's several of them. There's a tip jar on the counter. The person literally turns around,
Yeah,
pours
I
my
know.
coffee into a mug, and gives me the styrofoam cup or the paper cup. I don't think that deserves a tip. Now, if I sat at the table and they brought it to me, I'll give them a tip. Same thing. A lot of
You don't
places.
tip.
No, I do, but not them.
No,
I don't tip them.
you don't tip
if
the
you
jar.
go into like a pizzeria or a sandwich shop,
Yeah.
there's a tip jar. For what?
Well, that somebody made your pizza.
But they're getting but part of the idea with the tip though
is they're not being paid a full wage.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you're trying to,
Mhm.
their service is
But
a
you
part
know
of
that,
their pay.
But you know that tip is usually shared with the person in the kitchen who is being paid a full wage. So your waitress, while your waitress is not, I guess it depends on how.
It depends on the place too. Not all of them
on
share
each
with the
place.
cook.
You're right. Not everybody shares. Sometimes your waitress gets to keep his
Her
or
own,
her
yeah.
tip. Other times they're sharing it with everybody, and maybe that includes the cook. A percentage is given
Or a
to the
busboy
cook
or
whatever.
something, yeah.
Who wrote these trivia questions? Because they're way too easy. If you tip 20% on the $15 bill, how much would the tip would be?
$3.
Of course, it would be $3. Here's another question. Listen, we're going to be giving away Hobucka's money like every day with these questions. Davey, did you write these?
Yes, I did.
All right. Well, I'm not going to criticize them, but I'm sorry. Pickles start out as which vegetable is a little easy, right?
So
pickles start out as which vegetable?
You'd be surprised at the number of people who don't know
How
that.
would someone not know that?
Is it cucumber?
It comes from the pickle tree. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows.
Wait. It's a cucumber,
Are
right?
you asking the question?
Bill,
I can't believe you're asking me.
Bill, you would be shocked at the number of people who didn't know that. So I don't like cucumbers, but I like pickles. So, but I know it's, what is it? What do they call it? They basically can it.
Well, yes,
with oils
it's usually not oils with pickles, but it's a brine. You create a brine, and my wife makes amazing pickles.
So, and I said, oh yeah,
out of cucumbers, by the way.
I guess
Although
I could see that.
You can pickle things, but a pickle comes from a cucumber. Davey, you knew that, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Which
I
is
wrote
why
the question, so I know.
Which is why you wrote the question.
So I guess I did know that. I did know that, but when I saw it, I kind of said it out loud, and I was like, oh yeah, duh. They look, and I asked 4 or 5 people, and they don't know.
They don't know.
People do not know that.
Who painted the Mona Lisa? This is a good question. Everybody knows it's Leonardo da Vinci. You know, when we were traveling, I have a picture of the Mona Lisa. You can't even get close to the Mona Lisa. But I have a picture, believe it or not, I got over top of people's heads and was able to get a picture of the actual Mona Lisa.
Really?
Yeah, it was really, and when you're standing there in front of that thing and you realize how old that is and how amazing it is, it's mind-blowing. It really is mind-blowing.
So, and I want to say, I don't know, this is maybe totally made up just for the purpose of movies.
Yes.
But in a lot of movies, they claim that the actual art piece, something like a Mona Lisa, is just a replica. They have it in the back, protected.
No, this is real, and it's protected with plexiglass because people throw stuff on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to, Father, if you can hang, I would like to do you on the other side. I have Fox News I have to get to, but stand by. I'm going to come right to you. Father Sean O'Brien is coming up here. It's Holy Week. It's Easter week. We'll get to it.
Sean O'Brien. That's what you put with the cucumbers,
O'Brien,
right?
The Brine, yeah. WIBX Utica Rome, it's 8 o'clock.
A defiant Donald. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. Former President Trump back in Florida after his arrest and arraignment in New York City lashes out against everyone investigating him, including the Manhattan District Attorney, charging him with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records.
Before a ballroom of his ardent supporters, former President Trump blames Democrats for unfairly targeting his campaign with phony prosecutions.
And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement.
The former president insists people are more sympathetic than what New York County District Attorney Alvin Bragg wants to admit.
But hope is never lost because various prosecutors in the DA's office also quit because they thought President Trump was being treated very unfairly. How about that? Isn't that great? Oh, I love them. I'd like to meet them.
In Palm Beach, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Tornado damage and injuries are reported in southeastern Missouri.
At this point, we're just trying to get through the debris field to find the people. And, I'm seeing tree limbs and stuff on the road where I'm at.
Missouri Highway Patrol Sergeant Clark Parrott on Fox Weather. There's a severe weather threat today from Michigan to Texas. Liberal victories in Chicago and Wisconsin. The winner of the runoff election for mayor in Chicago is the more progressive of the two Democrats in the race, Brandon Johnson, telling people who did not vote for him.
I value you, and I want to hear from you. I want to work with you, and I'll be the mayor for you too.
He beat Paul Vallis, who was endorsed by the city's police union. In Wisconsin, Milwaukee Judge Janet Protasewicz is elected to the state Supreme Court, flipping its majority from 4-3 conservative to 4-3 liberal, with a conservative justice retiring. Her election means that the court could reverse an abortion ban. In effect, legislative district, she beat former Justice Daniel Kelly, who calls her a not worthy opponent. America's listening to Fox News.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-1441. That's 800-838-1441.
Mostly cloudy skies, 47 degrees. WIBX news time is 8:03. Looking at a high in the mid-60s today. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Well, we saw it again yesterday after last week's swatting incidents involving fake 911 calls to several New York State schools, including high schools in Utica and Rome. A new round of threats coming this week to dozens of schools across the state. Frankfort Schuyler Central School District in Herkimer County was closed on Tuesday, citing a threat against our school buildings. Meanwhile, Waterville Superintendent Jennifer Spring issued a letter to parents on Tuesday saying the district was one of more than 40 schools to receive a bomb threat overnight. While Waterville did not close schools on Tuesday, Spring said law enforcement was contacted. A decision was made to keep students on the bus until a complete search of the building was conducted yesterday. Ultimately, nothing was found. In fact, thankfully, each of the shots fired, active shooter, and bomb threat reports at New York schools over the last 2 weeks has been deemed a hoax. However, the threatening calls and emails are always taken seriously and investigated, and the investigation into the person or persons behind the so-called swatting incidents continues.
Do you know that Albany schools yesterday, at some of the schools in the Albany region, police were escorting teachers in and out of the buildings because the threat was there was going to be a sniper attack and they were targeting teachers. I mean, whether it's teachers or students or whatever, faculty, bus drivers, this is out of control. I just don't understand what's going on here. And all of it turns out to be a hoax, wasting valuable police time.
And speaking of which, fortunately, for instance, in the city of Utica, they didn't have a bunch of officers tied up yesterday investigating such.
Yeah.
Because there was a 6-hour standoff at Kennedy Plaza Apartments yesterday afternoon, so there was a big police presence there. Police say a man confronted staff with a knife on at least 2 occasions and also threatened to harm himself and officers. He ultimately surrendered when authorities decided to use a SWAT team to enter his 15th floor apartment. This began yesterday morning when staff at the Kennedy Plaza Apartments saw graffiti on several different floors of the complex. As staff began cleaning the walls, a tenant from the 15th floor, later involved in that standoff, threatened them with a knife. He then did so again in the building's lobby before returning to his apartment. During the course of the 6-hour police response, the Utica Police Crisis Intervention Team and MCAT were utilized, along with a robotic vehicle from Herkimer Police. The suspect made several threats about hurting himself and others. He threatened to jump off the balcony of the 15th story, and at one point, police said he was throwing items off that balcony. As efforts to negotiate with the man continued unsuccessfully, Metro SWAT was used to enter his apartment. He immediately surrendered and was taken into custody without further incident. Police have not released his identity, but they say he was taken for a mental health evaluation. It is expected that the man will face felony-level charges. That's felony-level charges once he is released from the hospital. You can read more on that at WIBX950.com. And, Bill, we talked about this a bit at the end of the show yesterday. They say all good things must come to an end. The restaurant has been closed for a while, nearly 4 years. But they have demolished Seb's on Seneca Turnpike there on that corner in New Hartford. Sadly, the building is gone, although some people are saying that the sign of the restaurant sign should head to a museum. You can see photos of the demolition. If you drive by, certainly you can't see the restaurant anymore.
I think the sign is still there.
And while you're on their website, you can take a look inside Zeb's before they demoed it. I mean, there's some kitchen equipment in the kitchen, but obviously no food. The dining area, it's just empty booths. Same thing with the bar area. You can find that photo gallery on our website right now at WIBX950.com. To your forecast, it comes from Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Some sun today, breezy, warmer, scattered showers and storms. Highest likelihood for strong to severe storms in the evening to the west, a high near 65. Any showers and storms diminish tonight, remaining pretty mild and windy, a low near 55. And not as warm tomorrow, but still mild. Isolated rain showers linger. Partly sunny, breezy, cooler late day, a high near 58. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Cloudy and 47 at 8:07. All right, checking sports. Still no deal on Aaron Rodgers. In fact, there are reports that the San Francisco 49ers are now talking with the Green Bay Packers about Aaron Rodgers. San Francisco's trade package would include multiple third-round picks this year and a first-rounder next year. 3 weeks ago, Rodgers said that he was 90% sure he was going to retire before attending that darkness retreat. He then announced his intention is to play for the Jets in 2023. But again, still no deal has been finalized by the two teams. And it looks like the Packers may be trying to make a deal elsewhere. NBA last night, the Nets' winning streak came to an end after 3 games. Brooklyn was topped by the T-Wolves 107-102 at the Barclays Center. Spencer Dinwiddie had 30 points. The Knicks are hoping to get back one of their top players for tonight's game in Indianapolis. New York had listed R.J. Barrett as questionable with an illness in advance of tonight's battle with the Pacers. Earlier reports said he would be available, but his official status remains uncertain. Last night, Joel Embiid scored 52 as the Sixers downed the Boston Celtics 103-101. Some hockey action. The Rangers happy to have a key player back in the lineup. After missing 17 of the last 18 games with a left shoulder injury, defenseman Ryan Lindgren set to return to action when the Rangers host the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. Zach Parise not interested in retiring. The veteran Islander wants to keep playing after this year. He said he wants to return to play in the NHL next season. The 38-year-old has scored 20 goals to go along with 12 assists for 32 points so far this season. Baseball action yesterday. The Phillies get into the win column for the first time. They beat the Yankees a final of 4-1. Domingo Germán took the loss. DJ LeMahieu hit his first home run of the season. And the Mets were shut out again, 9-0 in Milwaukee. They've been outscored 19-0 in 2 games this series. Max Scherzer was tagged with the loss. He gave up 5 runs, including 3 homers over 5+ innings. The Mets currently in second place in the NL East at 3-3. That 3-game series with the Brewers wraps up this afternoon. Left-hander David Peterson will get the ball for the Mets. I'm hoping we can at least score a run today.
It would be nice, yeah. What time is that game, 2 o'clock?
I'll double-check, but usually Milwaukee, they're an hour off from us, so usually it's around 2 o'clock.
We were just talking about how you tip and the proper way of tipping. Most people include the tax. It's just take the bill and you do 15% or 20% or even more. Here's Father Sean O'Brien on the line now. Father, it's a big week for you with Good Friday and Easter. Good morning.
That's right.
Thanks for coming on.
Good morning to both you and Jeff and Dave and everybody.
Morning.
So how do you tip, Father? How do you tip?
I do the whole bill, so I include the tax.
Yeah, me too.
Usually I'll do 20%. If the service is very bad, I still stick to the 20%.
I do too. Yeah.
As a courtesy to the business. But
Yeah.
if the service is very good, I will add more.
Sure.
I do too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Father, I have to ask you, being a priest, a Catholic priest, don't you just tell the waitress, don't tax the bill, I'm completely tax-free? Can't you say that?
Yeah. The church is tax-free. The priest is not. So
okay.
if you have any business owners out there who are listeners to your program, and they have customers that are priests, you tax that priest.
Tax
it's
away.
The church that's tax-free.
Understood. Well, you can give many tips, Father, as a priest. You could just. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It could be like, here's the 20% plus. I wouldn't. Those colors don't match. Or who knows what tip you're offering.
My favorite tip is when I tell people to save their money.
That's a good one. Yeah. Which not a lot of people. I would say not everyone does. Not everybody saves their money.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm guilty. I can't go through. If I'm at a junk store and I see a toy train, I'm done.
Yeah, that's your thing, right? That's your thing.
It follows me home.
We have not had you in studio in quite some time, Father Sean, and I realize this is a busy week, but I would think that things slow down a little bit after this week for you.
They do. It's crunch time for the priest, the minister, the rabbi, and the accountant.
Okay. That's a very good point.
Between Passover, Easter, and tax day, those professions are busy.
Busy. Well, we definitely would like to get you in studio when you're free. You let us know. And the happiest of Easter season to you.
That's right. I want to call and wish you and your staff a happy Easter and to say thank you because you've got a great program. You put out a great product, and I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Father. Thank you so much.
Father, and like we always say, man, it's getting kind of old now, but I'll say it again. News tips are taken here. Remember
That's
that.
Right. All right. Father Sean O'Brien, thank you so much. Have a great week.
Yeah, bye.
All right. Thanks so much. We love Father Sean.
He's so funny.
Let me break, and coming up, here's something that Sean is also very interested in, and that's vinyl records. Do you know, and I'll talk to Mighty John, who's coming up in a second, for the first time since, I believe, the first time in a long time, probably the first time since the early 80s, that vinyl records have outsold compact discs.
Wow.
It has happened this year. In fact, not only does vinyl outsell compact, because who has a CD anymore?
Right.
Not only does vinyl outsell compact discs, but it does it overwhelmingly right now by, I don't know, it was like $600 million or something or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a huge number. And vinyl is king once again. It is And these records, when you go in to buy a new record, oftentimes most artists are doing, they may not put out a CD anymore. They put out their MP3s, they put out all their stuff on the streaming services, all the digital stuff. And they put out a vinyl record, and those sell for like $30 or something. You can buy them in record stores or even bookstores. But for the first time in a long time, vinyl records are outselling compact discs, which is a format that is a thing of the past as well. I don't even think I have a CD player. We have one in here. Is that a CD player?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or is it a DVD?
It might be a DVD player.
No, it is a DVD player that plays CDs.
Yeah. I've got one still on my car, even though my car is a 2017 or 2018. It came with a CD player in there. Now, even saying that now, that was 5 years ago. I didn't think it was that old. But I was actually surprised when I got it that there was still a CD player.
There was still a CD. Mine does not have one. So, Got a break. Hold on tight. Coming up, Mighty John, the record guy. Coming next to WIBX.
The IBEW Local 43 and the National Electrical Contractors Association have been a part of Central New York for over 100 years. The IBEW state-of-the-art training facility offers classroom instruction as well as everyday on-the-job construction training. From the Carrier Dome to our local hospitals, malls, schools, and city buildings, Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 will continue to help light, power, and grow our community.
Hi, this is Tom Cole from Gates Cole Insurance with exciting news. We're expanding with a couple of new offices in our area. One new location is Tall Pines Insurance in Boonville. They're another independent insurance agency that takes pride in making customers happy. That fits our culture at Gates Cole perfectly. Here's Greg Lee from the newest Gates Cole location, Tall Pines Insurance in Boonville.
The reason why I got into insurance was I wanted to allow my father the opportunity to retire and give back to my community. You know, we had the Boonville fire that wiped out a large area down here for us a few years ago, and so we showed up at the fire. You know, we were right there, ground zero with our insureds, who made sure that they were taken care of quickly. You know, we were able to get people the money that they needed to cover their expenses from that loss.
For insurance for your home, auto, business, and just about everything else, trust your local independent insurance agency, Gates Cole Insurance, proudly representing Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty Company of Trumansburg, New York.
Hello, I'm Lisa Altieri, Chief Clinical Officer for Hospice and Palliative Care, and the family of a patient shared with me their gratitude to hospice. We lost our sibling after a courageous battle with cancer. From the very first meeting with hospice, our sister was assured by every hospice person that she would remain in control and that her wishes would be carried out. That knowledge sustained her and took an enormous responsibility off her family members. In the weeks that followed, hospice provided an incredible amount of support and comfort to her and our entire family. Every person from hospice answered our questions, soothed our nerves, and provided comfort and guidance to each of us, all while respecting her privacy and dignity. We can't begin to express to you how much that meant to our family.
Hospice and Palliative Care, servicing Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison County. Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, 315-735-6484, or visit us at hospicecareinc.org. Hospice and Palliative Care. When you need us most.
Adam and Grace finally made it to retirement. They decided this was their time. They drove in from Herkimer to Mattress Express in New Hartford on Commercial Drive in the Hannaford Plaza next to Red Lobster. They wanted to see the number bed they'd heard so much about. Adam had a bad back. He liked his side firm. We elevated his head, his feet, put the massage on medium. He said he hadn't felt that comfort in years. Grace liked her side softer. She was a 24. She had her head elevated slightly less, her feet a little higher, and the massage on high. They were thrilled to find out it had a 25-year industry-leading warranty. They qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down, so they didn't have to wait for their tax return. For their luxury reward, they chose a 65-inch flat-screen TV. They laid on the Purple and the Puffy, the big online brands while they were there, but the number bed was for them. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com or visit any store.
Hey, Fred F. Collis & Sons, heating, cooling, and insulation. You might not know that they've done insulation for many years, and they do it today. It's one of the key parts of their business, and it plays a huge role in heating and cooling one's home. And right now, New York State has all sorts of programs, rebates, and incentives that are available to assist you in qualifying for installation and the product as well, insulation. In some cases, you can have the entire process done and paid for by the state. There are programs that are out there. Either way, there are money-saving options out there through the state that Collis works with and is well versed on and can walk you through the entire process. It'll all begin with a free home energy assessment. Had one done at our home. It was incredible to see how they were able to pinpoint certain areas where we were blowing money. And this day and age, you don't want to blow money. You want to save everything you can save, and Collis can help. Call them today. There's no one any better. And you know, Collis, that when you're in trouble, if your heating goes down, your air goes down, they have you covered. Weekends, nights, holidays, They are there for you. Fred F. Collis & Sons, heating, cooling, and insulation.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And if I can also talk about another sponsor of the program, it's Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder, located in the Business Park and on French Road. Phone number is 315-765-8448. If you're suffering from pain, there's a reason why their website is killpain.com. If you're suffering from pain, reach out today, 315-765-8448. I have, and they are incredibly caring and assist you. There's nothing worse than pain that won't go away. It causes so many different problems in a person's life, not to mention the your mental outlook on life. When you're in pain all the time and you can't rid yourself of the pain, it's a horrible thing. You can't sleep, you don't eat, you become depressed. Don't live with the pain. You do not have to live with the pain. Whether it be surgery, a non-invasive procedure, injections, they have you covered. We've dealt with Omni and Dr. Hyder with my dad, who went through many, many issues with his back. And Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgery Center were there for him. KillPain.com. Don't live with the pain. Call today, 315-765-8448, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery. We describe it in our family as nothing short of a miracle. It's unbelievable. When you see someone walk in and they can barely walk because of the pain, and they walk out pain-free, that is incredible. I have on the line right now, we were talking about vinyl records. Mighty John, the record guy. Moneymusic.com is the website. He knows more about vinyl than anyone you'll ever meet. I can guarantee you. And he's on the line now. John, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good. Couple things I want to throw at you before we get onto your list, because it is spring cleaning time.
Yes.
And, you know, you never know what kind of valuable item people will find out there in their basements or bedrooms, the attics, who knows. But yesterday I saw a report that for the first time since the 80s, vinyl record sales have outpaced compact discs, and not just by a little, by a lot.
Yes. Love it. Yes. Well, you know, analog sounds better to the human ear than digital.
Yeah.
And people demanded vinyl, and the record companies say, you want it, you got it. So that's great.
And they, you know, it's not like the old days where you'll go in for $4.99 and pick up an album. They're a little more expensive today, but you can get some great stuff. And it's a throwback, too, to the days of the great record covers.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty
always
cool.
Nice to listen to the music and read the record cover at the same time.
So I have one more thing. At home, I have an old T-shirt that I have saved. I have to figure out a way to frame it. I know they have these T-shirt frames you can do.
Yeah.
But it's an old shirt, very colorful. It's on black, so it's a black shirt, and it has Billboard magazine and that very colorful Billboard logo. And it has on, I believe it was 1964, April 4th, 1964, it has the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 song, the top 5 on Billboard's charts. Yesterday was the anniversary, and it was owned by the Beatles.
Of course.
Yeah, pretty awesome. See
Can't
that?
Buy Me Love,
yeah.
was that it?
I believe that was number 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
worth
you're right.
$800 today with its picture sleeve.
Wow, with the picture sleeve.
Yeah.
Okay, those picture sleeves are valuable, and what you have here today is kicking off spring with 10 records worth $200 or more.
Well, let's give it to Sammy Hagar, number 10, with his 12-inch single of I Can't Drive 55. Current value up to $200. First record for Kiss, Strutter on Casablanca Records, $400. Now, the value for this one is just for the picture sleeve. The Osmond Brothers, One Bad Apple. Can't spoil the whole bunch, girl. The record, practically worthless, but the picture sleeve, $400, because the picture sleeve says Osmond Brothers, and the record company didn't want that word brothers anymore. They're just the Osmonds. So they recalled a lot of them before they could get out in mass production. I Fought the Law. The Law won. Big hit for the Bobby Full of 4, the original 45. Exeter Records current value up to $500. How about Big Brother and the Holding Company with Janis Joplin, the Cheap Thrills album. Stereo up to $100. Mono copy up to $600. The Beatles, Rubber Soul, stereo copy up to $100, mono copy up to $750. And if on the cover there's a sticker that says the Beatles' latest album featuring Michelle, you could add another $250 to it.
Wow.
1975, Time Magazine and Newsweek both had Bruce Springsteen on the cover, the first time that ever happened where they each featured the same article. And the album Born to Run was rushed out to capitalize on all that publicity. And in the early copy sent out, the words Born to Run were in script lettering, which is like handwriting, and worth up to $1,000. Both sent to radio stations. Block cover lettering where the words Born to Run are in block letters, $20. Del Shannon, one of the greats of the early rock and roll era, big hit Runaway, mono copy of the album $500, stereo copy up to $1,000. Motley Crue, the first 45, Stick to Your Guns, $600 for the record. Add another $600 if you find or have the picture sleeve. And number one on our list, Elvis, one of his movies, Speedway with Elvis and Nancy Sinatra. If you find or have a copy, stereo up to $100, mono copy of Speedway by Elvis up to $4,000.
Wow, if you have the mono copy, $4,000.
Yes.
You know, I was looking on eBay, and there are several on there that claim to have the mono copy. I just don't necessarily trust eBay today.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I get questions about eBay all the time. I mean, go ahead and sell on eBay if you want, but a lot of people, they don't realize their mistake. They just think throwing it up there and see what people will pay. But be careful. Always make sure you get the original copy. And one important thing, of course, is condition. And you can't always tell on eBay about the condition.
There's one here. This is claiming that it's that it is $49.99, so $4,999. Claiming it is the mono copy, but you don't know condition. You don't know, and you get it now. You're fighting to get your money back. It's a problem. The other thing is if you sell on eBay, that can be dangerous as well. I've had several problems in the last couple of years selling things on eBay.
People ask me where to sell. I always go first for either Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace because generally it's geared to your own particular area.
Right.
And it's easy to, track down somebody that rips you off.
So, and then my last question for you, like with antiques, it's very interesting to go to like a garage sale in an area far away. Like if you travel around the country and you're somewhere you see a garage sale, it's kind of cool to go to a garage sale in the South or in a major city because you find many different items that are more in style or more prevalent in that region of the country. Do you find that with records?
Yeah, and I'll give you a great example is, the early days of Elvis on the Sun record label, most all the copies were sold in the South. Very few made it to the North or the West.
Yeah.
And so you're more likely to find them in that area than you would be, say, in Los Angeles.
Interesting. So if you're driving this summer and you see that garage sale sign, you never know.
And never drive by. Always stop and ask, do you have any records?
Love it. Okay, John, as always, go to moneymusic.com where you have everything there, everything you could possibly think of, and the values.
Thank you very much, Bill.
As always, John, thank you.
Take care.
Mighty John, the record guy. Yeah, look, some of these, here's a movie poster that is the Speedway movie poster, not even the record, selling for $5,000.
Wow.
Elvis. And you just wonder about the stuff. We've talked about this before, the time that I was at it was more of an antique store. One of those where they have little areas like this owner has his stuff and this woman over here has her stuff, and all in one former grocery store. It's out in Oneida, pretty cool place. But I walked up and there was a whole bunch of Elvis records, and they were all copies from the 80s, worth a couple dollars, not worth much at all.
Okay.
But stuck inside one of them, I found an actual real copy of of an Elvis original, his first album that he put out, and the first printing of his first album, which I believe the copy is worth like, I don't know, $500-$600 if it was in better shape. It's not in the greatest of shape,
sure,
but they had like $2 on it. They thought it was definitely in with all the copies. You never know when somebody makes a mistake and you find a real gem out there.
Excellent.
And you pick it up.
Did you buy it
for a quarter? Did I buy it? Ha! Can't even believe you'd ask. I mean, can't even believe you'd ask that.
I know. I didn't. Now, you must have had. Look, you must have had through your hands thousands of records that are worth a lot of money.
And never knew it.
And don't have them anymore. Yeah,
absolutely. Remember, I had not only working in radio all these years, you collect stuff. You get the promotional copies, and nobody's going to do anything. Oh, I'll take them. I'll take those. And those have value. But I had 4 different DJ services. So on a given day, if there's a 1 o'clock wedding, I could do 4 weddings. I'd hire other DJs to come in, and that's how every weekend was a huge weekend for us. And I had to have, and that was when we were playing records. So I had every DJ setup stocked with albums. And then all of a sudden I have all these albums. I've closed down the DJ services. What do you do with them all? I was literally giving them away. I gave boxes and boxes of records away.
Oh, Bill.
And I'm sure that I gave
away
your
retirement plan
stuff real valuable. And what my wife says about records and about any collectible is it's worth nothing. And I'm like, no, look at right here. This is worth $500. It's worth nothing. I said, can't you see? It's right here in the catalog. No, it's worth nothing because you'll never sell it. So it's worth nothing.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
People will have these collectibles, or whether it's a baseball card or an old car, or what it might be.
You have to be willing to sell it, and you got to find a buyer.
Absolutely. And they'll say, oh, it's worth such and such, but you'll never see that money because it's never coming off that shelf.
It's never coming off the shelf. And instead, I gave them all away. That's my situation. Here, just take these, get them out of my way. Got a break, 8:32. Coming up, we'll talk to Ryan Nobles in a second, and a lot to talk about from Trump from last night.
Where do you think Ryan falls on the Trump dispute?
I feel that Ryan, and I know that people will dispute this, and because I've heard them dispute it, and I know Ryan very well, and I believe that Ryan is a journalist who tries to tell both sides of the story. The problem is today, a lot of Americans don't want to hear both sides of the story. They want a story that's telling them their side, the side they believe. I believe you want to see both sides of every story and then let the people decide. That's where I think he falls. Wow. Where his personal opinion is, I don't know. I know he's a Republican.
That outdated opinion of yours, Bill, where people get all the information to decide for themselves.
Apparently, that is the outdated
freaking boomer
way of life. It's terrible.
Boomer.
Got a break, 8:33 at WIBX.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica, Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Spring is finally here. Time to open your windows and open your doors. Today's going to be that perfect day. We'll go up into the mid-60s. Or maybe it's time to upgrade your windows and doors as well. New York Sash can help. And right now you can save 20% with the New York Sash Spring Sale. Windows in our home, New York Sash windows. In fact, we're in the process of putting new windows in the back of the property. We did the front last year and we're doing the back. So you can split it up. Maybe you want to do it window by window. This year we're putting in a couple of windows. Or you maybe want to get them all done at the same time. Whatever works for you, that's pretty simple. Wouldn't it be nice to have brand new, easy to open windows, no more drafts, peeling paint or rot, or frames that stick? Think windows that open with the slightest touch and are super easy to clean. Now's the time. The New York Sash Spring Sale is going on this week only, where you can get 20% off new windows and doors. So stop by the New York Sash showroom, Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, or visit them online for a free demonstration and a price quote at newyorksash.com.
Spring brings all around us the promise of new life and new beginnings. Those new beginnings can mean a number of different things. For many in our area, a new beginning can mean the difference between living a life of purpose or a life of despair. There are many whose bad choices have led them into a world of substance abuse, while others have innocently suffered neglect and abuse. Each person deserves a chance at a new beginning, and you can help make that happen with a simple donation to the Rome Rescue Mission. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs such as food and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. This spring, as we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, consider providing a new life for someone who needs it. Please donate now at romemission.org. That's romemission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Want to kick back with your favourite British TV? Escape with Britain's best series, only on BritBox. Don't miss new and exclusive releases, including BritBox original drama Stonehouse, starring Succession's Matthew McFadden.
It's Stonehouse, John Stonehouse.
Follow the unbelievable true story of the British politician who faked his own death.
I deny those allegations in the strongest possible terms.
Succession's Matthew McFadden stars in BritBox's new original drama, Stonehouse. Stream this and more at BritBox.com.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Right now,
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
Hey, right now at Steve Pawnee Mazda, the Move to Mazda sales event is back. And Ricky Z says, come on down. Take advantage of 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all new 2023 Mazdas, CX-30s, CX-5s, and CX-50s. And if you've been noticing a lot more of the Mazda brand out on the roads, well, it's no coincidence. More people are driving Mazdas today. The award-winning Mazda. Maybe it's time for you. Rick says, come in. We'll make your deal. Let's make your deal on a new or pre-owned Mazda. And it's their Move to Mazda sales event, which is going on right now. From the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, Steve Pawnee Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Mike this morning says, while Ryan Nobles might be a Republican, there are many out there that would call him a snowflake. And I'm not talking about the rolls at Daylight Donuts.
No.
Oh, those snowflake rolls are so good. It is the problem we are at today. If you look at things as if you report on something and you report in a way that is balanced, so you show both sides of people. You anger both sides. Both sides get mad at you over it.
I certainly wouldn't call Ryan a snowflake. I might call him a southpaw.
I would not. I would not.
Is he on the line? I hope he heard that. I was having a little fun here.
He is not on the line yet.
I'll have to repeat the line then.
Here is Ryan Nobles from
Ryan.
NBC. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Well, hello, Bill.
Davey, you got me again. What's up there, Stefan Rubitsky? What are you doing?
Well, yesterday afternoon, I was at the Syracuse Mets home opener.
Oh.
That's very cool, buddy. I saw that you called me, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to let you know about that. And they played the Rochester Red Wings, and the Mets won 5-0, but the top prospect, Beatty, got injured. He injured his hand.
Oh, boy. That's a problem.
Well, what happened? He got hit by a pitch? What happened?
I didn't see it, but I saw the trainer and the manager looking at him, and then I heard something about maybe he injured a thumb or something.
Okay, interesting. Well, I think before long you're going to see him up at the Parent Club.
I want to see some of those top prospects up at the Parent Club.
Well,
it's time to put a little more energy into the Parents Club's lineup.
Yeah, I agree. It's time for they got to hit the ball. I mean, we haven't scored a run in the last 2 games.
Yeah, we're only 6 games in,
and we
though.
barely
I think
scored
we'll
it for Peterson the other day.
Yeah.
And he's pitching again today. So, all right, Stefan. Manaski says we're going to be okay, though. Still early. All right, have a nice day.
Bye, Bill.
Bye, Stefan. I do want to add here this morning, Wayne said, what are your thoughts on Tiger Woods and the Masters, and what are his odds? What are your thoughts?
Well, let me see here. Yeah, listen, I'm always hoping that Tiger
puts
puts up a good performance.
I pulled up his odds.
Oh, you have it, okay.
Yeah. Got to go way to the bottom. If
Hello,
you were to
friends.
bet $100, he's not way at the bottom. If you were to bet $100 on Tiger Woods, it would pay you, if he won the Masters, it would pay you $6,600.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, he's probably not going to win. Here's Ryan Nobles to give you his prediction. Hi, Ryan. Good morning.
Hey, Bill. Good morning. How are you?
And that'll be on NBC, too, right? The Masters.
I believe the Masters is on CBS.
That'll be on CBS, right?
Hello, friends.
I'm pretty sure.
Isn't it his last? Isn't it?
No, for golf.
It was his last Final Four. He's still doing the Masters in football.
Yeah. I like Jim Nance.
I think objectively, Jim Nance is very good at his job, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Well, appreciate you being objective. We had somebody a little critical of you earlier this morning. And I just want you to know, that I stick up for you. I said, Ryan is not a snowflake. A southpaw, maybe. Maybe he's a southpaw, but he's not a snowflake.
So, Ryan, you know the world that we live in today. When you work in news versus opinion, when you work as a journalist to try to tell both sides of a story, not everybody wants that today.
Yeah, and I'm finding
increasingly more and more that people are not interested in both sides of the story.
No.
I find when, if I'm brought on MSNBC to talk about the Republican response to something, that's not to say I endorse the Republican response, but it's my job to report the Republican response.
Right.
The MSNBC viewers are not happy about that.
Yeah, they get all angry. So, but again, the difference between news and opinion.
Right, exactly.
And it's hard to differentiate between the two today. All right. Well, what do you think about the antics?
Not what do you think. What do you report about the antics?
Very good point. Yesterday in New York City.
My first impression was, and I'm actually on vacation. I'm staring out at the Atlantic Ocean right now, so I wasn't watching it with complete rapt attention, but it was impossible to not check it out. My first impression was watching the plane sit on the tarmac, watching the bevy of protesters and reporters and just gawkers in lower Manhattan, and just the wall-to-wall coverage from all the news networks, not just the one I work for, but everybody else as well. I just thought that Donald Trump must be in his glory. Like, this is what he lives for, even if it means that he's facing the prospect of jail time and a felony conviction. He loves being the center of attention, and he was certainly the center of attention yesterday. And, there's no doubt that his political advisors are going to do everything they can to try and maximize this moment. And I do think there'll probably be a short-term boon to him. I think he's going to raise a lot of money. I think he's going to probably see even a boost in the polls. We've even started to see that a little bit already.
Yeah.
But I still think the long-term cons far outweigh the short-term pros for Donald Trump as this legal process plays itself out.
Yeah, it'll get, this is something that, includes salacious things. It involves a porn star and,
a horse face,
a Playboy model included in all of it. And I just think that when now you're talking about overthrowing and, basically undermining an election, that becomes a little more serious and not overly palatable.
Yeah, and I think that's, in a vacuum right now, and most of the Republicans that are rushing to his defense are responding to a very small scintilla of an indictment on, to your point, something that happened 6 years ago that is more tabloid fodder than it is ever anything. I think the average person looks at that situation and doesn't think that a lot of damage to people beyond the people that were directly involved in it occurred. And so I think it's easy if you're just a rank and file House Republican to put out a statement and call it a witch hunt and a Soros-backed Democrat DA with a political agenda. I think to your point, when we start to see indictments for stealing an election, which is what could happen in Atlanta, when we start to see indictments for the mishandling of classified documents, even after a subpoena was issued that there, now reports that Trump was directly involved in, and then probably the most grave, the efforts to incite a riot at the Capitol. I mean, those three things are a lot heavier, and I think there's a lot more voluminous amounts of evidence that will be brought out to bear, and he's going to be forced to respond to. So, the weight of all of this, Donald Trump has proven us wrong so many times before. Maybe he'll be able to outdo this or turn it into a positive, but I can't imagine there's anybody that would want to trade places with him as a political candidate right now.
Right. You highlighted the other three potential cases that will come. I'm just curious, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. I find it interesting that Bragg, or if you want to say the Democrats or whatever, would risk the possibility of him looking like a victim in this case, that he's being politically prosecuted, to set that as the tone with these more serious cases still to come on the horizon. Doesn't it kind of set him up as the, oh, you're going after him again, even though those cases are more serious?
Ryan's daughters are celebrating the Beatles anniversary yesterday.
The end of vacation. Everybody's
nice.
Not happy. Jeff, I think that if you are working off the premise of that you are working off of, that somehow all of these cases are connected, and they had a choice as to which one goes first, the answer to your question is yes. It doesn't make much sense that they would start with this one. Mm-hmm. But, you're talking about 3 or 4, depending on how you look at it, investigatory bodies that are running completely independent investigations, of which they really don't have anything to do with each other. The Stormy Daniels hush money payment has nothing to do with the Georgia election intervening case. It has nothing to do with the insurrection. It has nothing to do with the classified documents. And so, I think that the thing that I find most interesting about this is the points that you're all making are the ones that Republicans are making over and over again. The feds had a chance to intervene in this case. They chose not to. The original district attorney never got to the point of prosecution. At one point, even Bragg stepped away and said that he wasn't going to, and then all of a sudden something changed. And to me, I would assume, and we still haven't really seen much of the evidence yet. We've just seen a very kind of surfacey indictment report. it reads to me that there's something else there that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Right? That there's some sort of exculpatory evidence that just made Bragg think that this was too big to ignore, and that's why he decided to push forward. Now, we could be completely wrong, and he might just be wanting to make a name for himself. And I think that, if you just take Donald Trump out as the central character in all of this, I mean, they got a conviction for Michael Cohen without much work, that this would be a slam dunk case. But, obviously the stakes are so much higher with a former president and somebody that's currently running for president that still has enormous support within the Republican Party.
Cohen will say, and in fact, this was on NBC, an interview last night, said that everything that he has said and then some will be coming out in hard evidence. There's evidence to back everything up. And maybe there's something in that evidence that that becomes the big splash, the reason for moving forward. One would hope, because I would think you have to take very seriously the fact that you are, for the first time ever, indicting a U.S. president after they left office.
And also, if you're just thinking about it in raw politics, which is what a lot of Republicans have attempted to put it into, that this is just an effort by a Democratic district attorney to try and hurt Donald Trump's chances of running for re-election. If you're just viewing it through that lens,
it's the opposite.
It's an enormous risk too, because if he goes through the indictment process and either a judge throws the case out or he's ultimately exonerated, well then he uses that in the way that Trump does, and uses the exoneration in one case to say that it's a blanket exoneration for everything he's ever done his entire life. So it's a dangerous play. That's why, I'm a little skeptical with the argument, and I granted, I don't think it's an argument that should just be tossed aside. But the idea that this is just politically motivated, to me, it's as risky politically for Democrats as it is for Republicans.
Well,
so that's why I find that alone, I don't think, is a reason to be completely critical of the process that's playing out here.
And I would take it even further. The fact that so far Trump has shown that he's not winning elections. There's a part of the party now, the Republican Party, that's talking about that. So much so that there are candidates who are coming out and running against him. You wouldn't need to help in that situation. That seems to be fixing itself. That's why I just don't buy in, and the fact that I do believe that the more they go after Trump, the better it is for him. I just don't. I don't buy the I'm doing this to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election argument. I don't buy that.
Yeah, because I agree.
It just doesn't make sense.
I don't necessarily think that the end goal there is worth the effort. But, I do think an argument that you can't ignore, and that, that he's an elected district attorney. If he convicts Donald Trump, he's going to become a hero, a saint in the Democratic Party for the rest of his career. So there is some sort of personal political benefit.
That's a better argument. That's a better argument. He's trying to make a big name for himself. That's a better argument.
Yeah. And that goes above and beyond the intervening in the presidential election. I think most Democratic strategists that are involved in the Democratic election would prefer to not have to deal with this right now, especially because, what do they say? The next hearing isn't until December. There's a good chance that it doesn't even go to trial until after the election. So, it's not going to really play the kind of impact that I think some Republicans are making it out to be for the 2024 election. But there are still enormous political overtones attached to it for sure.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, I heard somebody make the point yesterday, and I don't remember who it was, but essentially that while some people will feel sympathetic to Trump in the situation, that they won't. Once you've made the decision on somebody, especially a political candidate, that I'm for this person or I'm against them. And that's what this person's point was, that a lot of Republicans have kind of moved on from Donald Trump. And while they may feel sympathetic for him, they likely wouldn't be all on the Trump train like they were before. Anyway, the person's point on the political scheming was they want Trump to be the candidate because they know he won't win. The Democrats, that was the theory, that we want him to be a victim so that he can garner the support of the Republicans. However, knowing at the end of the day that a majority of people will not support him and he won't win.
And there's one other point on this, Ryan, that can't be ignored, and that is after when Trump was being impeached, Nancy Pelosi leading the way. If you remember, was it impeachment? I forget what it was, but Mitch McConnell after January 6th came out and said he basically he pointed the blame to Donald Trump, entirely on Donald Trump, and said the proper way to handle this will be after he leaves office. There will be prosecutors. There will be the legal system that will address this. And he, like any other member of society, like any other American, can be arrested if he has done something wrong. I mean, that was Mitch McConnell.
And you'll note, obviously, Mitch McConnell is dealing with his own health issues right now, but he's been notably silent on this particular issue.
Yeah,
now, that's different than what McConnell was talking about, the January 6th insurrection and the fallout from that, which is, that prosecution and investigation still ongoing. But yes, and I do think that there's a bevy of Republicans who are still going to say publicly that they think that this prosecution is politically motivated and unfair, yada, 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 but in their heart of hearts are not going to cry too many tears if Donald Trump is convicted of something. Because, the big overtone here is if he's convicted of a felony, he can't run for office again. And that, that's going to be a bigger, I'm sure he doesn't want to go to Rikers Island, which is, kind of a far-off possibility. But, I think that that's the thing that damages him the most, because once he doesn't have the protection of being a political candidate, that shuts off a huge money-raising opportunity for him.
Right.
It's his entire brand right now is the thought that he could once again reach the promised land of the Oval Office. And so, there are real-life consequences here. And Republicans have played this dance with Donald Trump going back to 2015. And, until he's either convicted and officially, handled with legally, that he's not going away. He's never going to go away on his own. It's going to have to be forcefully done to see him actually exit the stage, I think.
Ryan, thanks for taking a break from vacation. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys, have a great one.
All right, safe travels. Thank you. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. If you need a family physician, a new family doctor, the importance of having a family doctor to guide you through your everyday life, to be able to guide you into getting tested for A, B, and C, or maybe it's being tested for cancer, one type of cancer. It's the family doctor that leads you there. It's the family doctor that you share your health concerns with. So important. The Falcon Clinic is accepting new patients right now at thefalconclinic.com, or call them today to schedule an appointment, 315-507-4751.
Bill, we're on the show with a win cash code here this morning. This is for the 8 a.m. hour, and in fact, please listen closely. I will give you the 8 a.m. code and the 9 a.m. code coming up right here. All you need to do is go to WIBX950.com, or you can do it via the WIBX 950 app. Click on the Win Cash bar, and you enter the code. Your chance to win $100, $30,000 total. The cash code for the 8 a.m. hour is 317. Again, 317 for the 8 a.m. hour. And because we're right on the brink of 9 a.m., I'll give that to you as well. It is 815. So 317 is your 8 a.m. code. Your 9 a.m. code is 815. We are out of time, and we have a busy program coming up tomorrow. We are already jam-packed. Have a great day.
I'm Irene Kurtelowicz, and I've been a hospice nurse for over 32 years. My passion and my love is to take care of our hospice patients and families who are at home surrounded by the people and the things they love most. Our hospice team brings comfort, continuity, dignity, and compassion 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The patient and their caregiver never need to feel alone. We are just a phone call away. Family members always want the best of care for their loved one, and one of the things hospice affords me is the opportunity to go above and beyond the normal care that a person could receive. My position allows me to provide quality care to the patient and provide much-needed support to the family. Patients do not want to leave the comfort of their home and their loved ones. We all know there is no place like home, and it is our privilege and honor to care for them wherever they call home. I encourage anyone who could benefit from our services to call today.
Hospice and palliative care. When you need us most.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That demand from former President Trump on social media, saying Democrats have weaponized law enforcement to interfere with elections. Manhattan Attorney General Alvin Bragg accuses Trump of falsifying business records.
34 false statements made to cover up other crimes.
Breaking election law, he says, with hush money payments before the 2016 election. Trump's back in Florida after his arrest.
Former President Trump decried his prosecution in New York, which he says is politics, not justice.
And I never thought anything like this could happen in America.
And his most faithful and public supporters agree. Arizona Republican gubernatorial nominee Carrie Lake says New Yorkers should be the most upset.
You can't take the subway in New York City without worrying about risking your life. And you've got your prosecutors going after President Trump.
And Georgia GOP Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene wonders,
if this is the new normal, we're no different than North Korea.
In Palm Beach, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Brandon Johnson's elected mayor of Chicago, beating Paul Vallis in a runoff.
This was a battle between the two factions in the Democratic Party, the more moderate one and the one more to the left. And the left won in the person of Brandon Johnson, 40 years old, former school teacher, a former Chicago labor organizer. And in his speech last night, he doubled down